Hello and welcome to Infamous MCP, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker. Go by one who parks on Discord.
This is Zach. Go by Nitro Zeus on Discord.
And this is Josh. Go by Grummelzog on Discord.
I'm just defeated already.
Parker, I changed your nickname there on Discord to represent your current
God
attitude.
damn it.
Fantastic.
You're now Captain Root Beer.
I don't... It'd be nice if it was Captain. It's just root beer now.
It's just
now, now someone needs to drink a root beer in front of Parker and just like, I'm no longer hungry. Like, this is...
I'm just so defeated. And you know what? I'm going to bounce back. Here, we're going to do a new podcast. Here we go. Let's talk about some MCP. And then I remember that fucking game I played. And I'm like, ugh. I got nothing to...
Well, actually, that was my first question for you, Parker. How did you enjoy your at least 3 games of MCP last week?
It's just nothing but disappointment right now. I'm just wallowing in it. I'm going to try. Okay, here we go. I am not going to get in a pity party. Here we go. Let's.
Well, yeah, because nobody's going to come to your pity party.
Let's jump up out of it. Let's jump up out of it. I did not get to play 3 games of MCP. I was excited to do so. It did not happen. I can't even remember this conspiracy that...
All I can remember is you told me that you tried to drive to Blue Springs 5 separate times.
That's right. It wasn't Blue Springs. It was Bonner Springs.
Springs. Very different springs.
Yeah, it's very different. The springs are completely different. One bonds, the other is blue. It's very different. But it's
the third is Blue Bonnet Springs.
Yeah, Blue Bonnet Springs. But I'm sure that exists somewhere. I am not excited about the number of games I got last week. But I am excited about one thing. I learned the same thing I always learn every time I try to play Spider Foes. I just don't like it. They're so disappointing. And
I think the list you brought is disappointing.
You know what it was? I'm 100% like, let's play something I haven't played in Spider Foes, because every time I play Spider Foes, I don't enjoy it. So let's just do anything that I haven't done before and see if that works. So your logic train is,
let's play Spider Foes, but not play any of the good stuff. And let's see what that list looks like.
Yeah.
I can see how you got there.
That's 100% what it was, because I feel like I always were playing something that was hyper optimized, and I did not enjoy that. And this was not that.
If D&D taught you anything, it's don't optimize.
Yeah. But I'm 100% sure that even unoptimized, I don't enjoy it. I just didn't... there's something about it's... I think I know what it is. They're very undynamic, with the exception of probably Carnage. Like, Carnage is like a dynamo, right? He's like flying all over the place. Not Dynamo the character, but Dynamo the concept. Like, he's very active. But everybody else just kind of stands there, attack, move, attack.
So I think because you took Ock as your leader, that's kind of what you're in... You kind of pick that as your game plan, is the stand here and do nothing. Like, he's the captain of just stand there and brawl. And I think if you had played Goblin with a couple other models, they're a lot more dynamic.
Yeah. But even when I play Goblin, it doesn't feel like that. Again,
sure.
I probably am suffering from there's a term for it where just you don't have an... I'm just blanking on the word right now. A bias, right? I'm just playing on a bias right now, which is probably the lack of sample size. I'm just... Yeah. I play them once. I really don't like the outcome of the game. And so I go, ugh, and I leave, right? I don't...
Well, also, I think part of it is, like, it comes down to playstyle as well. Anytime you're adjusting your current playstyle, you're not going to get that in a one-game sample size. And so you probably do that a lot. Try to play something, play it incorrectly, have a bad experience, and say they're bad. Mm-hmm. I think you need to play Electro. I think Electro is super fun and dynamic. Like, probably the most dynamic model in Spider Foes is Electro.
I have played against him. That guy only ever shocks. Just shock fucking everywhere when that guy's...
He does shock, but he's also incredibly mobile. Mm-hmm. Like, he might be one of the most mobile models in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would probably enjoy... Because I love Green Goblin. I actually love Green Goblin. So I would probably... But he's another one of those characters that if you don't get a good splash, like if one of his 5 dice doesn't go off, he feels very meh. But
he can. Yeah, but that's true of a lot of 4-pointers, is if they miss their early game attacks, they feel bad.
Yeah.
But at least his leadership helps you do that.
Right.
Hmm.
I do love all the trap stuff too. I love that you and that's another bit, which is I know when I play them, I'm not thinking of all the different ways to use all the traps. There's so many ways to use the traps. Like to throw characters and then set traps off. Like there's so many cool ways to do those kind of combos. And when I play against somebody who's played them a bunch, they do those to me. And I go, oh yeah, that was cool. But I don't even think about it because they're one of the only affiliations that does a lot of that, right? So I probably should consider playing them more than twice. But I just both times you're like, nah, I don't like it. The initial taste is hard to get over. Anyway. Zach, did you ever play Spider Foes at all?
I don't know that I've ever played as Spider Foes. Kind of like you said, they kind of aren't necessarily as dynamic as other affiliations, and now with that new box last year, they have some better cards, but it just wasn't something, that kind of trappy gameplay just never quite appealed to me, so I haven't really messed with them too much.
They have some great fucking cards right now, like really good cards.
You didn't even get to. You did custom upgrades, didn't you?
I did.
I think you did. Yeah.
I think custom upgrades is kind of overrated right now. I think it was much better in a previous era when everybody was playing super tall, and you could play it on like Thanos, like late game when they only had like 2 or 3 models left, and you just became unstoppable. But it's still a good card. It's definitely worth making your roster or even your squad. It's just less impactful than the old Blind Obsession used to be.
Custom upgrades is like you said, it's actual a situational card. It's not one that you like automatically windmill slam every game. It's going to be amazing whenever you use it. It's when it happens, it's super useful, and how cool is it? But
Surprise Webhead, however, is an amazing card.
Yes, Surprise Webhead
100% be in your squad.
Yeah, Surprise Webhead's fucking dumb. I think Strategic Retreat is actually another one of those like corner case super strong. Even Sinister Traps. I don't know. There's lots of ways.
I think Traps is underrated.
I think
because it. Go ahead.
In the new Crisis set, I want to see Sinister Traps get played because I think there's some cool things to do with it. But
anything you can do to fuck up people's turn 1 scripts is really important. Like, for example, a lot of people will have like their safe grabber right now, like their medium long guy. And you're just like, oh, cool, I'll just trap the thing directly in front of you so that the entire strategy doesn't work. And you're like, oh, well, fuck. Like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Angela, that's what you do.
What does she do about that?
She's just good. You should be playing her.
Strong argument.
Parker, that's the thing. Every time I look at them on paper, like even right now, I started this conversation with I don't like it. I didn't like it. And every time I ever try it, I don't like it. And even right now, as we're talking about it, I'm like, oh, all these cool things they could do, they're so cool. Like I do like so much of what they represent on paper. I really like it. But I feel like them and Hydra do the same thing for me. I love the way Hydra looks on paper. Like I love the tricksy like ways that you can do things with Hydra. But when I execute Hydra, it works and I like it a lot. Like it didn't like the learning curve was so small for me and Hydra. Immediately it worked. And I was doing things, people was surprising people with cool stuff because Hydra does some weird shit. But I feel like Spider-Foes is in the same league as them, with some strange stuff, things you don't see, off-meta choices, and also really tricky. Like, I would really enjoy it, but for some reason the learning curve is so much steeper. Am I wrong? Am I crazy pants? Is Hydra so much easier to play, to get into? I don't know.
Spider-Foes is too much reading for me.
Too
much reading, too much thinking. Just can't do. There's too many moving parts. Like every time CJ I play, because CJ loves Spider-Foes as well, and he'll play, and he's got to sit there and like think about all the things he wants to do, and I'm like, I could never do this affiliation. Not for me.
I think Hydra has more obvious core models than Spider-Foes do, like Zemo and Strucker and Red Skull 2. It's much easier for them to just run downhill with their game plan, and so they still have some tricksy, funny stuff to do in there. But they're also, their core is a bunch of very efficient models that do exactly what they want to do. and so it's much easier for them to get going, as where Spider Foes is less obvious, and so you do have to put more thought into how to play them.
It is 100% true. Roster selection is much more difficult. Like I'm windmill slamming Red Skull 2 and Baron Zemo and Hydra, and I go Green Goblin and like if he plays this, Carnage would be strong, but if he plays this, Venom would be strong. If he plays this, Rhino would be strong. Like there's a lot of counter picking that you can do, which is cool. But if you're wrong and your opponent just doesn't play those models, then you feel like ice skating uphill.
Like Venom, for example, in my opinion, is a very powerful model. He might not be very strong, but the effects on his card are all individually very powerful on their own right. Like being able to push people medium, to be able to throw a size 3, to ignore defensive mods, like all the things he does are very important. Healing himself for damage dealt, they're all really good, but none of them directly result in one thing happening. And so, like, any board manipulation thing is all up to how you use it, and then, like, where you can properly apply his debuffs, who you want to displace when, where you can put him without dying, who he's gonna, lethal protector. All this stuff is just up in the open. Whereas, like, versus Red Skull 2 is just, like, point and kill. Like, all he does is just murder machine. You're like, okay, well, that's obvious.
Yep.
And so even though, like, one is obviously better than the other, like, just one is more of a toolbox and one is a knife.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like Hydra plays well together. Like they're all kind of doing something each other wants to do. And then every time I look at Spider Foes, it's kind of a series of individual models just together. Like they really don't have any synergy or anything that like one of them's like, cool, I do this, the other one does that. Like they just kind of all exist and you're just windmill slamming them to make them work.
Yeah. A lot of them have extra utility put on top of their already okay kit, and that's how they kind of get to their value. And so you just have a lot of random utility abilities that you need to really utilize, or else they are bad.
That is true. It is like a bunch of solos, right? Like they don't really synergize. They have some themes in common, but you're 100% correct. They're all just really strong solo pieces that don't have a ton of synergy, and that's interesting.
Yeah, the only thing they really share is most of them are pretty tanky.
Yeah. Yes. They have, like I said, they have similar themes. Like a couple of them have passive damage, right? Like the damage without rolling attack dice. And a couple of them have, a lot of them have high health pools. But that's like the only thing that keeps them together. And all those things aren't you don't have the ability to be an agent for a lot of both of those effects, right? If your opponent doesn't attack you, your high health pool doesn't actually do anything. If your opponent doesn't attack you, the ability to retaliate, or if your opponent doesn't move in the right distance close to you, you don't get to throw the object at them or do a trap effect. Like there are so many things that don't happen if your opponent just doesn't oblige you. Unlike, a Baron Zemo, where he goes, yes, I get the reroll because I stood within 2 of my guy. It does an extra damage to you. Like that's what it did. It's a lot more proactive and in your own control. So that's another reason why probably. Yeah, learning all kind of reasons why I'll probably never like that faction. Yeah. Look at us making headway.
There's also little things like I think a lot of times you see people play Green Goblin. And he's really like Razor's Edge kind of model because you want to be close enough to where you'll never have to move before you attack. But if you get too close, he's not particularly tough. He's just got some good stats. And so he will fall down if he gets targeted. And so you have to find that sweet spot of where he's just far enough away to not get dogpiled, but he's not too far away that he's not out of the fight. He's in range for tricks and traps. He's in range for his gun. And that way you can hit and run into a better position for next turn. But if you're only shooting once a turn with him because you constantly have to move back into range 4 because people moved away from you, like he's not worth 4 points. Yeah. Also, controlling the turn in which Green Goblin gets dazed is very important because he's obviously very dangerous on his backside, and he's also very squishy on his backside. And so you need to have priority the turn he flips over. And if you don't, you can just lose not only your leadership, but like one of your better combat models instantly when he flips over if you don't have priority. So you really have to control when that happens.
Yeah, again, which is a lot of those things are reliant upon what your opponent is doing, right?
Mhm.
And your opponent can just deny them and make you feel as if you did the wrong thing by taking Green Goblin. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, because Green Goblin almost always has 10 power when he flips, because you're generally taking a handful of damage right before you get dazed, and then he's getting the 1 for free and then extra, like, 3 or 4, potentially, depending on how you roll. So, like, he can get to 10 really fast.
Yeah, I probably should. I mean, I'm not that I was planning on it. It was such a distasteful experience. I was not planning on playing them again this week, but I should probably just stick with affiliations where I feel like I have that kind of proactive control. Clearly, it's something that I appreciate when I play.
Well, yeah, because discovering if, like, Spider Foes failed you or if you failed Spider Foes isn't really relevant unless you're going to try and fix the situation either way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not interested in playing them, then it doesn't really matter.
Right.
If you do play them again, play Electro, though. He's really fun.
Okay. I have all these freaking models. I love
know.
I love the comic book characters. Like, I'm such a big
Mhm.
Spider-Man, fanboy. I love the modern take on these characters. There's all of them are cool characters, and it makes me excited to play them. But it did make me happy that in my game against Zach, Carnage just like fucking went off like a monster. That made me happy. But he should.
Let's see. My list was centered around Loki 2, which I think still works. So my go-to list was probably Goblin Electro Loki 2, which is 13 points. And then it was kind of fill in whoever else fits the best, which commonly was either Lizard or Sandman. And then if you got a little bit more points, you could run like Mysterio Rocket was also fun. Because then with Mysterio Rocket, you have all the traps, right? You've got Electro Trap, Green Goblin Trap, Mysterio Trap, Rocket Trap, and then Loki, whoever they attack. And if that person ended up being Electro, they just take an auto 2 damage for attacking you.
My list was absolutely similar to that. I just don't own Loki 2, so I'd have to proxy him or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's illegal. No proxy.
It is illegal.
It's cheating.
Then I will not play Loki 2 and be cool with that.
Got him.
You should. Loki 2 is so much fun.
You're really coming out on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Here.
I've never claimed to be anything but arbitrary. So.
I think Loki 2 is a monster, and I am boycotting him for myself because I've had so many negative play experiences because of that motherfucker. I don't ever want to be on the other side of that. I don't want to. I don't want to feel pleasure from watching my opponent feel the way I felt playing against that shithead. I really don't appreciate Loki 2.
In my opinion, I think everyone should play with him a couple times, because a lot of the frustration of playing against him is that you don't really understand the way it works. And as soon as you try to play with it, it becomes so obvious how to play around his effects. Because you're like, oh, that guy's not within 3 of me, so he doesn't get the effect. And then as soon as you realize your opponent has to spread out to stand on points, you're like, I'll just wait for you to have somebody out of range 3 of Loki, and I'll fucking attack that person. And the list falls apart. And so it's you lose all of the Loki stuff as soon as they spread out, or you just kill Loki.
Except for it's if someone attacks someone within 3 of Loki.
That's what I just said.
If I'm range 5 away and you attack someone that's range 3
No, I'm talking about the target, not the attacker.
Gotcha.
He said, yeah.
If you put your models contesting points and then choose where you're putting Loki, Loki's either dead center front of the table where your whole list can attack him, in which case he's going to die, or he's not within range 3 of a bunch of his models, and you just attack those people.
I love Loki too, so.
I think he's a fun model. I think he got way more hate than he deserved.
I think it was just because, he dropped, everyone was angry at Asgard. Mm-hmm. He is a definite win more model where everything he does kind of just punishes your opponent on top of what's already happening. Yeah. If I roll 2 crits, 3 skulls, and a hit, and then you roll 2 skulls, it's cool, I just hit you for 8. On top of you didn't block, so congrats.
The thing for Loki that actually bothers me is not the skull, and I can see how the skull thing would bother some people, but that's just, there are lots of people that fuck with variants. For me, it's he always has 5 or 6 power. Always. Yep. That's the part that really bugs me, is that he's I want to do my spender. Well, I always have my spender. I want to use my power. Well, I always have my power. Like, he always has 6 power. Always. With the 2 he gets at the beginning of the turn and the uses of his leadership, he just always has 6 power. And that really blows me away how efficient he is. He never, ever doesn't get to do the best parts of his card. Because most characters in the game are balanced around they'll get to do the best parts of their card only if they take special combinations for their characters, like Wong, or a leadership like Steve's. They won't get to do all the parts of their card. Or they'll have to wait every 2 to 3 turns before they get to do that. And some of the characters that are the most egregious in the game, Cosmic Ghost Rider was, for example, people played tactics cards just so that they could use the best parts of his card every turn, and so they fucking nerfed it in the ground by making his spender cost like 19 or some shit, or whatever it is, 8.
Yeah.
So they clearly understand that a character getting to use all the best parts of their card is wrong, and yet they made Loki, which is 100% that character. He always gets to use everything on his card, all the best parts are available to him every turn, and that is very puzzling and egregious to me. That's the only part of him that's actually really egregious. And I don't know if anybody else feels that way or notices that when they play him. I think they mostly just notice the skulls thing and it feels bad. But I think the part that actually makes him feel broken and actually do terrifying things to you is the fact that he always gets to use all of his tools every turn.
Well, you don't have to play him in Asgard. Like, in your exact example, playing him in Spider Foes wouldn't give him that much power.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I've played him a couple games outside. I'm starting to test it, and you're definitely not flush with power. But he doesn't also generally struggle.
He doesn't need a lot.
He doesn't need a lot, and you're not struggling to get it. Like, his spender is fantastic, but it's a slot machine, and you're honestly just, unless... Like, if I'm not hitting 3 people, I don't even really think about the spender. I'd rather just double. I'd rather double attack someone with my builder and probably daze them or KO them, because that's 12 mystic dice, which I believe on average is the weakest in the game.
It's hard to say average because the people that have good mystic defense have a ton of mystic defense.
It's
and everybody else has 2 or 3.
Yeah. But he rarely fails me, so.
No, yeah, he's got better than average dice, plus a better than average dice pool, and, like, you know, he usually gets the job done.
Yeah.
He's not a heavyweight, but he hits plenty hard.
And he really makes if your opponent knows what he does, your opponent really has to think around him. Just because, like, when I first started playing him, it was like, you roll skull, take a damage. Like, skull, take a damage. And then I realized, I was like, okay, well, mainly I'll just save that until you're, like, you've taken 5 damage, you're doing an attack, you only have 6 health. Yeah. Did you roll a skull? Well, you're dazed. Congrats.
Yeah, and like a lot of people get really upset about it, but it's like, do you realize I just gave you, like, 2 power, and now your guy can charge? Like it's actually not that good to just nickel and dime people with random damage, which is why you don't see people doing sprays all over the place.
Yeah,
like, it is the most efficient way to do damage, but it also is the most efficient way to give your opponent all the power they need.
So what's funny about that is I'm waiting
generally you'll just see people laser people down. It's like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for one more shield throw character, so I can run an old shield throw list. For shits and giggles, and then I realized, I was like looking at it, I was like, man, the math of that is I'm really just giving you power, because I'm just throwing 4 or 5 dice every time and doing 1 damage, like, short of a crazy spike. I think I'm just feeding the enemy team power and not actually, but I'm gonna play it because it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Steve 3 shield throw list could be really cute.
Are either of you going to Bug Eater this Saturday?
No.
Okay.
No, I got way too much stuff going on right now.
That's fair. I'm jamming that Asgard Criminals list I've been working on.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, see how it goes.
Zach, are you also going?
I am also going. I am going to take Wakanda, put a couple new things in there in Gambit and Angela. So played those a little bit and excited to go run those at a full tournament. See how they do.
Sir, the Gambit card isn't legal yet.
Alex says it is.
No, I'm just kidding.
Technically, it's not. Technically, it's June 2nd.
It is,
but
yeah, I know.
he's running. He's
You have my blessing. Go forth
Thank you.
and use Gambit.
Why are you? I mean, I know you like Gambit. That's absolutely fine. But what does that do for your Wakanda list that you're excited about?
So with M'Baku's leadership, where if you roll a wild, you can turn another dice into a hit. It just feels like it gives Gambit a little bit more consistency.
Because then you can a little bit extra. So you basically, if he rolls a wild, he gets 2 wilds.
Yes, and if I roll a hit, then I get little something extra into a wild, then change another dice into a hit. So compared to like Steve 3, where you have to have the hit to get the chain rolling, with M'Baku, it's like you need a hit or a wild, and so it's just a little bit easier to kind of roll those dice up quicker. He likes Shuri being there to give him a little bit of extra juice when he needs it, and I feel like he's replacing Zemo. And you could definitely tell me that's just straight wrong, but like I think he has a higher ceiling than Zemo, because of how he can spike the dice with the double wilds and interact with the leadership, and so I want to see how he can do instead of Zemo, basically.
Yeah. So just as an example, if you get the hit wild, which is not likely, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility, then he's going to add a 4th hit, and then Gambit's going to change a die to an extra wild, and so you're going to end up with 2 hits and 2 wilds, which is 6 hits.
Yeah. So I think he's much higher ceiling play, and I think King T'Challa is such a scary model. Red Skull 2 is, and M'Baku is, that it feels like they might just hope that the Gambit slot machine doesn't blow him up, because you should be devoting resources to killing everything else that's on the table, instead of Gambit can also spike on defense. So instead of just hoping that goes well for you, I think he'll be able to fly under the radar a little bit.
If your list, do you find that the list is very aggressive? Like are you always like flying at them?
Yeah.
Okay. If I have played a list before using Gambit, and I never got to put it on the field, but I've always wondered if his card would be useful or not. Because free stealth seems fine.
But
Dark Past, yeah.
Free stealth seems good, but it doesn't work if your opponent's totally fine just sitting back, right, and not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah, if it was like Shadow Org, it would be a lot more powerful, obviously. But the fact that it's just regular stealth is interesting. It really depends on if you think they're going to be out of range 3 to start. But so many models nowadays just have charge anyway, like built into their kit, where it's like, okay, well, yeah, everyone in the fucking game has place 2 or charge on their card, so who cares?
Right.
It'd really only be useful if you thought your opponent was going to like do things like Shuri and stuff like that. It makes her a lot harder to use. But there are only a few examples of that.
Yeah. Then Angela's replacing Namor. One thing I've noticed playing the list a lot is there's not a lot of terrain throws. Like, really, M'Baku is the only one you're bringing. So there's definitely a lot of teams that can just throw that at you immediately. And that can be a problem. So Angela getting to throw even on turn 1 is really valuable. I actually just played with her Monday night. And she did really great. I mean, just another flexible model that can throw terrain, that has the better frenzy timing now. And the M'Baku leadership also helps her get her pursuit a little bit more consistently if she does get thrown outside of 2. So 1 game so far, she's been good. She was definitely able to fill a role and throw a lot of terrain, and so that was really nice. So I'm excited to see her in a few more games as well.
She is very good as not your star 5. Like,
right.
if you have the ability to have other, she is not a shock trooper. Like, she is not like a Keystone model. But if you have the ability to put her in as more or less backup to your Keystone models,
she's a great cleanup model. Yeah.
She's so good when your opponent has like a 3 health model and a 2 health model and a 4 health model. Everything's fucking dead. Like, she's gonna kill it.
That's basically what she did. She killed Dazed Wong, Dazed Shang-Chi, Dazed Doctor Strange in 1 activation.
Yeah, like that is not a terrifyingly hard thing for her. Also, generally, it's hard to close her down because things that when your opponent wakes back up, they usually have things like Zemo's Spender with Master Swordsman. Well, she just says "fuck you" to that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
Most things in the game, or things that a lot of people specifically play, are I want to make sure to get lots of rerolls. I want to make sure to make these attacks key and hit and make sure they kill things. She just shuts off a lot of that stuff. But again, at the beginning of the game, that shit's fucking worthless because a lot of people don't have the power to spend on it. So she gets so much better after turn 3 or 4. The problem is the game doesn't usually last that long. so she doesn't feel good in general. But if you can accelerate that with other models, like your Laquanda list is full of blitzy models, and then you accelerate that even faster with things like Wakanda Forever. So it absolutely should work in that game plan. And then she's a midline distractor too. Like that's what she does first. But
Yep.
It makes perfect sense.
I do want to briefly talk about. I know we have news to get to, but I want to talk about the list that I played against that I thought was interesting. He was playing a mixture of Convocation and Defenders with like new Doctor Strange. He had Clea, and the overall plan that he had was an attempt to play a squad that could both play Defenders or Convocation. With generic cards, like he had Prince's Protection, Heroes for Hire, Chi Mastery. He had a couple, like, his restricted cards. And the idea he had was put down a list that is both Convocation and Defenders affiliated. Wait and see what your opponent has. And then decide if Bar with No Doors is better or if Doctor Strange's Leadership is better. And so you don't get Ironbound books because you don't have to decide until, like, you could pick to do it.
Wait, hold on. Say again. Start from the leadership thing.
Okay, so you're both affiliated with Convocation or Defenders. You wait until you have to declare a deployment because Ironbound books, Bar with No Doors doesn't cost you anything to bring.
No, you have to declare affiliation when you build your squad, not when you deploy.
You do? I thought you had to just...
Yeah, or no, because to select Tactics cards that are affiliated, you must declare your affiliation. You choose your affiliation when you select Tactics cards. You choose your leader model when you after deployment.
Yeah.
No, but you can't like deploy a Shield and Avengers affiliation, and then after deployment say I'm playing Steve with Avengers instead of Nick Fury with Shield. No, that's not how that works.
Well, that hurts the idea a lot, but
yes.
He was.
I would
playing,
imagine that
he was playing a really good list that does not work according to the rules. Yeah.
Now maybe you just misunderstood what he was saying, and obviously choosing leader after the fact is powerful, and any model in Convocation can be its leader, and so you could choose anyone but Strange 1 to be the leader, probably, I would imagine. But yeah, you can't choose Defenders or Convocation at deployment. Your opponent knows that before they start deploying.
Yep, I might have just misheard him.
Yeah.
Or misunderstood him.
Rather than just calling the guy a cheater, I'm going to assume that there was some miscommunication. I did play against somebody in Arkansas one time that had 3 legal leaders on the field, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like, and he just starts going. I'm waiting for him to announce, because I'm playing Convocation. I haven't selected my leader yet. And it's like, and he's got all 3 Avengers leaders sitting on the table. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait for him to declare. Oh, no, sorry. He had Nick Fury, Hulkbuster, and Steve 1. And at no point did he say what he was playing. He just put models down. I'm like, and so I was like, well, it doesn't matter. I can't change what I'm playing at this point, so he'll just tell me in a minute. And then he starts moving models. I'm like, hold on, wait. What affiliation are you playing? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm playing Avengers with blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, I need to know that before I choose my leader.
All right, well, other than the leadership thing, I thought it was an interesting idea to have. Like, you have such overlap there, and it's very differing leaderships. That he was getting to play Shang-Chi either way, whether that's in Convocation or Defenders. Mm-hmm. He's still very happy about that. It was. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, because Shang-Chi doesn't really care if you're playing Defenders or not. I would say the good thing about Convocation is that he could use the bump to get into martial artist range on a lot of attacks.
Right.
As far as I understand, there's not many range 5 energy attacks that he cares about. So if they're shooting you at range 4, I would think the place plus base width would almost assuredly get you into range 3.
Mhm.
I think if your opponent, pretty sure if your opponent like
Yeah.
sits exactly 4, it wouldn't work. But if there anything not
I
exactly,
think
4,
it would because it's a
think?
30 mil base plus 25 mil for range 1, which is more than 2 inches. That's 55 millimeters. And so, and I'm pretty sure the difference between range 3 and range 4 is 2 inches.
Here we go. I've got it.
I used to have these written down somewhere.
Oh no, I got some bases right here, yo.
Yeah.
We're figuring this out.
Well, a base is larger than range 1, so if you can just tell me if 2 rulers next to each other is the same distance.
You're right.
As the
You're right. If
between,
he absolutely gets the martial artist. Nice job.
You're in by 4.98 millimeters, brah.
Yeah, I know. I could tell just by looking at it. 4.98 is what I would say too.
Mm.
Yeah, you're easily. It is. That is cool. Gets him in the
Well, it's
martial
because the difference of 50 mil and 2 inches is 0.02 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, learn something new every day.
Yeah, this is just old War Machine measurements that I've memorized. I didn't know that off the
No,
cuff.
you're just really good at converting metric to standard.
Mm-hmm. No, the 2 inches to 50 mil is a pretty common comparison that you have to remember the difference on. It's like the difference between 25 mil and an inch is like really small, but it's there.
Now you got. I don't know if this is the topic for today. I'm about to get off topic. Are you ready? Here we go.
Oh, we've never gone on a tangent before.
I do want
really
to talk
keep
about
that
the core
streak
topic
intact.
for today, but we can
Yeah.
circle
No,
back to it.
wait. This is the core topic.
Shit.
I had a question. Off the top of your head, I can think of 1, 2, 3 affiliations that I could easily take 2 leaders and be interested in switching, like after deployment.
Mm-hmm.
I can only think of 3 though.
Really? Okay.
Can I tell you my 3?
Name your 3. Because I feel like
Well, hold on. Let's
Okay.
guess. Let's each take a shot at it.
Okay, go for it.
So Josh, go ahead and guess one.
X-Men.
Okay.
Cyclops.
No.
Zach.
Avengers, because
No,
I know
don't-
he's done it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's Avengers. Avengers is 1.
I would say Criminals would be another good one.
No, that wasn't one I thought.
Okay. Well, the X-Men and Criminals both 100% have a valid reason to take multiple leaders.
Okay.
So we're up to at least 5.
Okay.
The Convocation, obviously, because they've got infinite leaders.
Convocation was I wasn't really counting them, but I was
I was.
because it's the same leadership. I was talking about like switching to a different leadership in the same
Different
place.
leaderships as opposed to different leaders.
Right. So I was thinking Avengers, Brotherhood, or Defenders. The new I feel like the new
sure.
Defenders could be like would be an interesting choice.
Huh?
And you wouldn't be
Cabal is also a really good one.
I thought about
Well,
Cabal.
it used to be better.
Right. The problem is Malekith is the other
He's
good
still
leadership
a
you really
leader,
wanna do.
and the leadership is relevant.
Yes.
Not the model as much, but the leadership is very relevant.
I think X-Men is fine. What is Storm and Cyclops, right? Probably.
And Professor X.
And,
I know, but I don't know. I'm not putting Charles. I think Charles. This is my hot take. I don't think I've ever said this publicly on this cast. I think Charles is just worse Cyclops. That's my personal opinion.
Oof. Oof.
I think he's just
Ooh.
worse.
I would like to file my petition for disagree.
We have a
No,
another
the
news
Annals
No,
of
actually,
History.
I take it back. I did actually outline this in a whole diatribe.
We probably did
once
talk
on the
about it. I
podcast.
just disagree. It's fine.
Yeah. I think he's just worse. I don't think it's much worse. But I'm saying is
Just on the topic real quick, I just don't think we currently have the models to utilize his leadership.
I'm with you. Sure.
Yes. As soon as that model is printed, which might be happening very soon,
Yeah.
I think that would be a completely different conversation. The leadership's very strong. I don't think X-Men need it right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a hat on a hat. So this is one of the reasons why I didn't put X-Men. Is it's really Storm or Psych, and I could see how you'd really want to switch to Storm, but I think when you put Cyclops on the table, you're excited about generating the power. That's probably what you're doing, and switching to Storm seems like a strange choice to make at the start of a game. If you're excited to switch to mobility, I feel like you're probably doing one or the other, but maybe I'm wrong.
So I think this is more to do with the conversation we've had recently about how we construct lists. I think with our normal list construction is why you have that lens you're looking at it through. in a hybrid format where you're intentionally trying to make hybrid choices, I think very often you will have, these are the 5 models I need for Storm, these are the 5 models I need for Cyclops, and there's probably a little bit of overlap there, and I can throw in a couple other splash models if I need, and I can very easily get both of those, goals accomplished. As where what we tend to do is pick one thing and then build every eventuality into our squad. Like when you're building a list, you go, I'm playing Hulkbuster.
Right.
What is the best Hulkbuster roster I could ever put together? And that's kind of the way we go about it.
Yeah.
And other people might build their list with more flexibility in mind.
Right. And so I'm saying I don't, maybe I'm wrong, and there is easily a way to take just strong models that are affiliated with X-Men or not, because you're just excited to play those strong models, and value the Storm Hop and extra defense reroll over the power generation. I personally don't know if I would appreciate that option, but maybe there is somebody out there. What was the other one you said was Criminals? And I think that's definitely possible. I think Criminals absolutely.
I mean, it's been done a lot.
Yeah. Criminals has been done a bunch, you're right. I feel
Personally,
like
A-Force is my number one go-to.
Yeah, that's just it was an interesting posit. I don't think I've only ever done it in Avengers on purpose, where I specifically put multiple leaders down with the option in my pocket. But I probably should play with that more often. I should probably try.
Let's just run down. Parker, do you want to keep track of the numbers here? And I'm just going to go through and we'll tally it up. I'm only going to name the affiliations with multiple leaders.
So just to this is, you're putting both leaders down, or multiple leaders down with the same affiliation.
You would build your roster. Yeah, the concept here is, would you build your roster taking multiple of the leaders with the intention of taking both of them in different situations?
Okay.
And so,
all right. I thought you were like, you're going to play, let's say, Elsa and Blade. You're not deciding the leadership until you see what your opponent has. That's what I was trying to clarify. Yeah. Which one are you talking about?
Just in general, I'm building a roster, and I'm intentionally including both leaderships in my roster because I might want to switch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, no.
So
I was talking about, sorry, I meant like squad. Like I meant like I'm putting both of them down at the table at the same time.
Yeah, well, else then my statements are invalid if you weren't planning on doing that. You're putting the model in your roster because you know you might want to play it, not because you think it holds up the 10th spot well.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not just I would play the model, but I would use its leadership.
I'm specifically thinking about not making the choice before the game, but making the choice, or I guess before, not making after deployment. Basically, is what I was thinking. Is
okay. So you guys are coming from this from only the prospect of I would field both,
yes,
and then choose after deployment,
like Parker would do with Hulkbuster, right? He put down Hulkbuster and Sam, and then go, which one am I doing based off of what you have?
But how many of those times did you not know before deployment what if you were going to need that leadership or not?
How many times?
Yeah, like how often, like as a percentage base, was like, oh, my opponent completely fielded something I wasn't expecting, so like I didn't need Hulkbuster here at all.
Oh, I have no data to support that. I wish I could.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking. Usually, I think you have a pretty strong inclination as which way you're leaning, and then it's only if you're surprised does it change up. But maybe I'm just viewing it differently than you guys.
But the point is, the point of this strategy is you're not surprised. That's the point. Is that you go?
Yeah, you have both options.
Yes, because as opposed to the other strategy, which is, you know what, I'm going to go. Windmill slam Hulkbuster. See if he plays all his throws. Oh, he did. Great. I get to do cool stuff. Or like, oh, he didn't. Well, fuck.
Yeah, but regardless, you had Sam there just in case. But
when I put Sam in the list on purpose, then I have the option to switch off and make a useful leadership.
And it's not doing it beforehand. You're specifically fielding both leaders, so you have the flexibility at deployment.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on. Asgard. We've basically got Loki and then pick a Thor. I think it's less common now because you don't want to play Loki 2 with Mighty Thor. So when Hero of Asgard was there, I think that was a lot more possible.
Yeah.
But now he's de poopy, so we'll move on. So that's a no. Avengers, obviously yes.
Yep.
Black Order, you can't. You can't. So no. That's not a no though. That's an invalid. Brotherhood, we already said yes. Cabal. I think the answer is
So,
no.
we can.
Well, actually, hold on. We actually had a roster. You would just never choose Red Skull 1 because Malekith's leadership is so strong. Yeah, so that's a no, because you would never do it specifically with the intention of choosing after deployment.
So that's the question I have real briefly about Brotherhood. Is would you play that with the intention of playing, deciding that after deployment? Like, do you think Magneto has a role with Mystique? She definitely does with him. But okay, all right. I have not done that, so that is an interesting thought for me to take away and try.
Less common now with Deception being nerfed, but that for the longest time that was the strategy. Is you would just switch leaderships based on like what missions and everything. Like, hey, I'm going to need this leadership in this game. Yeah, you probably wouldn't choose after deployment very
That's
often.
What I mean. Like, I think having both before, but if you know what the missions are, priority, etc.
Yeah. But maybe you enter the game knowing that I'm planning on playing Mystique, but then you see your opponent brought a bunch of throws as well, so you decide to go Magneto.
That could be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's probably less common.
Okay, so Brotherhood is a lower priority because specifically you get to know what the missions are beforehand.
Yeah,
I'll put an asterisk.
And so I think you would always go in planning on Mystique and only switch to Mags if you, because you're never switching to Mystique, right? Unless I guess you thought they were going to bring their throwers and then they didn't.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Magneto would love hers. So.
Yeah. So Criminal Syndicate, I think yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because obviously seeing what your opponent brought after the fact is good. Defenders, we already said yes.
Yeah, I think that's one of the... Specifically, I was thinking about them since they're
Hydra?
change.
I think Hydra is a yes.
Yes, Hydra's a yes. Because you could... If you could get surprised and be like, ooh, no, Strucker. Because
I think I can see the opposite. I could see you being like, I think I like the Strucker plan that I have. Oh, they brought a bunch of models with a bunch of immunities.
Immunity, yeah.
Shit. Okay, I'm going to have Red Skull, so I actually have an effective leadership.
Yeah, I agree. Inhumans, I don't remember what Mrs. leadership was. I think it was weird.
It's a forced reroll. Yeah, it's a forced reroll, and then you can place yourself. And Medusa's costs a card, so I don't think so.
Yeah. Midnight Suns. I think there's some game there.
Yes, there is actually. I forgot Elsa, my girl.
So I could see that, but that one feels to me too like some of the Blade leadership seems to be turn one safe grabbing, like having a turn one scripted play. So you may be deciding that ahead of time, but you could also look at your opponent's list and go, it's not really going to matter.
If you were playing Midnight Suns with Elsa previously, you clearly have a plan that it doesn't require bump.
Right.
So I think we're already out of the plan of I have a scripted bump plan, and it's more of gravy on top of it. And like I can still take a lot of similar models, but bump is just nice.
Yep.
And then it's do I need Elsa or not?
Yep. I can agree with that.
She might have
Shield.
That actually might be one of the very first versatile strategy lists, like legit versatile strategy lists.
To switch.
Do a turn one with Blade and
isn't that banned now?
No, it's legal.
No, you can use the
versatile strategy is still legal.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Still never used.
Till now,
it actually got an update. It got a wording update where you don't have to play it during your active leader's turn or something. I think, if I recall correctly. But
moving on, we have Shield. I think is a yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely seeing what your opponent has makes Nick Fury's leadership a lot more enticing. Spider Foes, same. I think you would never choose Doc's leadership over Green Goblins unless you saw what your opponent was playing.
I think I would agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then X-Men, I think, is a yes, but much more like... I don't know, maybe seeing your opponent has a bunch of stealth models might change your mind on Cyclops' leadership.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not an X-Men player. I would say that I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, I'm not an X-Men player, but whenever I was building lists for X-Men, I was always trying to do specific lists to the crises I was playing, and I generally didn't like. If I was bringing Storm, I was like, don't really see a need to bring Cyclops because he doesn't fit.
I would agree with that generally, but I think. And like X-Men in its current form is much different than what it was when we were building those very scripted lists, because they were really just trying to abuse missions, and then like Storm has changed since then, and the mission pack has changed since then. I think it's a very different world that X-Men are in right now.
Word.
But I would accept a no because their leaderships are so different.
They're
I
just
think,
doing
like
two
you said,
different
they
things.
want such different models that it's tough because how do you bring models that both of them want and you're happy
but they
with, and then you
still
swap?
they still play mostly the same like X-Men core models because it's the same broken X-Men models that get played in every list,
Well,
right?
true.
Like it's still like Logan and X-23 in every fucking list, or like maybe Beast, I guess if you're doing old Storm tricks, but you can put Beast in a roster and he's not terrible.
Yep.
I don't know. I'd accept a no, I guess, because they are different.
I think based upon our like you, I think your speech about just like the way we like to optimize lists and the way we've traditionally done it, it seems bad, but it probably is not that bad. It probably is not.
Yeah.
Web Warriors, I would say, is a no because you're never going to pick ASM
you
over
skip-
Miles.
You skipped Wakanda. Are we not even thinking about them?
Oh, I did skip Wakanda. We'll come back to them. So Web Warriors, I think we all agree is a no.
Yeah.
I can't imagine your opponent would have something that would convince you to play ASM.
Mhm.
So then Wakanda.
Maybe.
So the problem is King T'Challa and Black Panther have the same alter ego.
Yeah.
For one.
Mm-hmm.
So those two models are just out. Also, everyone agrees that King T'Challa's leadership is bad, even though, and if you were playing a King T'Challa leadership list, you would never change your leadership at deployment.
Right.
And so it's really M'Baku versus Killmonger or Black Panther 1. I don't think you're playing Usurper's leadership unless you have a very specific plan.
Agreed.
And so it's really M'Baku versus Black Panther 1. And I think that actually does happen a lot, or has happened a lot. And I think that's a fair choice, but I don't think the deployment is determining that. I think that's a game plan.
I think so too. I could see where maybe there's something about deployment because M'Baku can, a little bit stop pushes in places, but there's less of those.
Ooh, I guess
It's
that's
not.
true.
It's not reliable since it's a coin flip, or worse than a coin flip actually.
It's worse than a coin.
So I could see where maybe there's something you see a deployment where you're like, oh man, I need to have this. Or vice versa. Maybe they have a ton of throws, and so you want to be able to pay for dodge rerolls. But I think you're right that it's probably a decision you're making ahead of time. You may be fielding both of them, but it's a decision you've already made.
Yeah, so like the example is you're playing Black Panther and M'Baku, and you were planning on playing Black Panther's leadership, and then you saw your opponent had a bunch of pushes.
Or or
yes,
no
it just
throws.
seems
Where you're like, I
unlikely.
don't care that the
Yeah.
dodge part doesn't matter. Or, yeah,
exactly.
it seems
don't.
theoretically possible, but unlikely.
Yeah, exactly. I think at that point the difference is so minuscule. I don't think you care.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is certainly possible that you could do it. It's such a small choice that I don't know that it's relevant.
Yep.
And I think that's the last one.
That's it. Yeah. So we got 9 with 1 is kind of an asterisk, so kind of 8.
Mm-hmm. Out of how many? How many no's did we get?
Oh jeez.
Oh, did you not count the no's?
No, 1, 2.
I told you to keep track.
Because
There's a bunch of ones that we didn't do because they only have one effective leader.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So of the ones that have more than 1, right? Is that what you're saying? I did.
Yeah.
I did. When you said
Don't worry
keep
about it. It's
track.
fine.
Anyway.
So I think we said no
So-
to like what Asgard, maybe X-Men, and
Cabal.
I mean, the fact that there's like 8 or 9 is impressive to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought would get that high, but
Yeah. But a lot of them are assuming that you're intentionally building a list for that choice, and the choice is there if you want it. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people wouldn't jump through the hoops to do it.
You just
because leaderships are
predetermine.
either
Yeah.
they're either A, so different that you wouldn't bother building for both, or mostly irrelevant.
I think of the ones we have, I think the ones that I think would occur commonly that you would be interested is probably Avengers, Defenders, and Hydra. I feel like that would be like you would find lots of
I personally disagree. I don't
occasions to
think
do that.
anyone's doing Avengers for the ability to choose leaderships like that. Like you did, obviously, but I think that's because you specifically wanted to, as opposed to it like was a good plan.
Oh no, I'm saying if you were trying to do this on purpose because you appreciated the tactical flexibility, I
Mhm.
think those 3, like you would end up switching after deployment
Yeah.
at a noticeable enough rate. Now, would you get a decided advantage over somebody who was like a purist with 1 leader? I don't know. I have to see, but
right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think you would actually get to do it. You'd be like, ooh, I'm so glad I took both leaders. You would get to do it with Avengers, Defenders, and Hydra. I feel like it would happen.
Yeah. So for the Hulkbuster argument for Avengers, I think there's a huge advantage of if someone is playing a throw-heavy list, you already kind of want to play him because he's good into lists like that, and then his leadership is extra good into it. But I don't know how often you would choose the Sam leadership with Hulkbuster on the table. And that's what kind of gets me. I guess if your opponent saw the fake out and totally changed strategy based on what you were doing, then I could see the value of switching to Sam. I just don't see a lot of lists being willing to do that. Like, let's say you're playing Magneto and Hulk, and are you just going to completely abandon that and like bring in Mystique in a whole different squad, and then you can throw Sam into that? I don't know. It just seems unlikely to be really relevant, which is I think why you played Hulkbuster's leadership so often, is because they're kind of locked in at that point. It's like, can I abandon my strategy? And so often the answer is no, because we build lists that same way, is where we sell out for one strategy, and then if we get boned, we get boned.
Like if you're playing Midnight Suns with iHulk, even if they have a Hulkbuster, you might just be like, this is the plan. This is just play him every game. If they play Hulkbuster, sure. Like maybe you make them pivot out of it, but it at least gives you the option, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the I know that you know that I know that you know. But
exactly.
I feel...
The list chicken duel, yeah.
Right. I do think there is a fair amount of, at tournament specifically, not like at game night probably, but at tournament, there's a fair amount of my opponent has, a triangular shaped board they just set down, right? There's some small guys in one corner and some tall guys in the other corner, and you don't know where they're going to pick out of that, off their board when they start selecting their squad. So maybe their decision was clearly always, Immortal Hulk, or maybe they put Immortal Hulk as a foil there for the entire tournament and never once picked him, but they knew Immortal Hulk would be scary and people would be nervous about it and make a list to make sure it killed them and sacrifice the ability to beat the rest of their list. Like, I feel like there is an equal chance of both happening. Maybe it's not equal to in actuality. I don't have the data to support that, but I feel like it's possible, especially when I'm sitting there and trying to pick what I want to play, right? It's that I know that you know thing. So I think it would be cool. The one I'm excited to do, the one I will probably do tomorrow, is the Defenders version. I think it would be interesting because I think Daredevil and the newest version of Strange One will appreciate each other, and the ability to pick could be useful. I'll see.
Zach, did we leave anything out on the list you were talking about? I think that's what got us on this train.
No, I think this was an interesting discussion. I'm curious to see kind of, Parker, where you land. And I just really, even though what my opponent was saying technically wasn't legal, I think it was just an interesting thought of not making that decision until deployment, so that you don't end up kind of like we talked with Strucker potentially, like you don't end up at a deficit with your leadership, that it's not going to be effective during the game. So yeah, it was good.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Parker.
We got some news.
Hey, news.
So our news is really old news this week, actually. The Phoenix had her panel to play, and we never got to talk about the tactics cards. We do know of the Phoenix, because we knew her front and back. It was spoiled at Adepticon. And our conclusion was that she is fine, but probably she has some really cool things baked into her to make her not queen shit a fuck mountain. Because of her Phoenix token mechanic, she should kill herself fairly often, but that's what the Phoenix does. It burns bright and then goes out. And then these fucking tactics cards. So...
Oh god, I haven't read those.
Oh, you're going to hate them. You're going to hate them, Brandon. The Salt, we're mining it today, everybody. Get ready.
I just wanted to refresh on Phoenix real quick, because I assume other people have been I've not thought about her for 1 second since Adepticon.
Okay.
So, is everyone still in the same boat where they, like, she's, like, potentially scary, but, like, probably okay, I guess?
That's how I feel.
That's what I feel. Okay. She'll have the games she's scary. She'll have the games you find a way to deal with her.
Yeah. to me, because like reading Gladiator felt the same way. It's like, yeah, these like confidence tokens seem great, but then you think about it in real game terms, you're like, yeah, but you're probably going to lose them at a rate that's not really ideal. But then like it's weird to put those things into like, I don't know, my visual matrix and seeing how it's going to be on the table, because it's so complex and it's so based on your opponent's decisions in combination with your decisions on how it plays out, that it could be really, really strong, or it could be basically not important. All right, so let me pull up these tactics cards. All right, Parker, what's first?
So I'm pretty sure we already saw this one. I don't know how it got spoiled. I Am Reborn. It is her reactive card. When she would be dazed, she can play it, and you push all characters within 2 of her short, and they are incinerated. It's a weak card, right? Just meh. It makes sense, right? Like when she pops into her full Phoenix form, she gets to do an extra effect to the guys around her.
So normally she flips in the end phase, right?
The timing of it is exactly when she would be dazed. I don't think it's bad. I think of it similar to like Black Bifrost, where it's like, okay, well, this person's about to be done activating, so I can displace everyone off points or break up bodyguard
Midnight
bubbles. Thank you.
Yeah. No, my question is, when Phoenix flips, does she flip instantly when she is dazed, or
no? It's still.
Does she?
I think it's still during.
It
cleanup.
still happens in the cleanup phase.
I believe so.
I'm reading it now. I don't see that part.
Does it just say
when this character would be dazed, it gains 3 Phoenix tokens. If the character has 3 or more Phoenix tokens at the start of your turn, or if this character card would flip to the injured side. Okay, so it is in the cleanup phase. Okay. All right. So, but you do this immediately when they daze you. Yeah, the Incinerate, I think, is basically worthless. It's really, if you put her on an important secure point, does pushing everyone away from it make a big difference? Probably not, but maybe. I mean, it has value. It doesn't immediately turn me off. So, yeah, it seems fine. I give this a C+ to C-. So, I don't know. We'll give it a C.
Fair.
I give it a D. I think it's situationally. I don't think it ever makes a 10, but that's mine.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see play, but I think that's where the C's are. It's like you can play it if you want to, but it's not going to see a lot of play.
Yeah.
And so, like, it has, like, the problem with it, obviously, it seems to be that if you're playing Phoenix, you're not playing scenario. So I don't know why pushing people short is that big of a deal.
Why
but
can't
if
you
you
play
were
scenario?
somehow,
you're always a healthy character with a huge amount of health. Like, you could play scenario with her.
No, because like she flips if you get 3 tokens, right? So she's an injured character at that point, isn't she?
No.
Or is she never injured?
She's never injured.
She's never injured.
Both sides are healthy.
Flip or 3, she flips.
I just assumed because it was the way it's formatted on the website, it looks like it's her backside.
No, it's she's healthy on both sides. She's kind of like Iron Man.
Yes.
The Hulkbuster like that.
Yep.
Like both of her sides are healthy characters. So no, she can play scenario, but she's only one character.
Yeah, I think I might actually be more with Parker on a D, because I feel like if you're killing everything around her, then she gets to flip in the middle of a round into Phoenix Unleashed, and that feels really bad. So you just want to attack and kill her first, and then that means she's maybe displacing models that then get to just move back. So that's not.
Hold on, she doesn't flip in the middle of the turn.
If this character has 3 or more Phoenix tokens at the start of your turn, or if it would flip.
Yeah. Oh, not start of a round.
Yeah, start of a turn.
Yeah.
So
so she doesn't flip in the control phase.
No,
it's either one. So if she is dazed, then she would flip, or at the beginning of her turn if she has 3 Phoenix tokens. So you've killed.
No, but as soon as she would become dazed, she gains 3 Phoenix tokens. So she's going to have 3 Phoenix tokens on your next turn. So if your next turn doesn't happen because of the end of the round, then she flips in the cleanup.
Yes.
But she's going to flip in the middle of the round more often than not.
Right. Unless you just kill her first.
Yeah. Sure. Yes. If you only daze her, then yes.
Yeah.
But you can't if you try to knock her down all of her health, she will just flip. She just flips over, right, and immediately.
Well, she still would get dazed.
So let's say my turn happens. I daze Phoenix, first model that's been dazed. It then immediately goes to your turn. She was the first model, or she already has 3 tokens because she's been dazed.
Mm-hmm.
and then she'll immediately transform into Phoenix Unleashed.
Mhm.
So that could theoretically happen on the first turn.
But she would still be activated. Because it says
If she
move
had
all
activated
activated.
already, yes,
Or if you dazed her.
which would be true.
Yeah.
So first turn, she obviously would have had to have activated to move that far up. So
Right.
yeah, I think ideally you'll want her to activate, and then you'll want to daze her. But does she gain tokens for anything other than people being dazed on the front side? It looks like no.
Not on the front side.
Okay. Alrighty.
So
Yeah, I don't know if I Am Reborn is good, but I don't think it's a worthless effect.
no, it's not worthless. I just give it a.
Yeah,
Not-
it
not a
also costs
fail.
No power.
It's not a fail. It's just not a great.
I think it's a lot better than a lot of other cards in the game,
Sure.
but there's a lot of bad cards.
There's too many bad cards. I would
There's
say.
like if it was a bell curve, this would be like a B-. That's how bad the average card is.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd have to look at the data. I'm not sure.
Strength and cunning.
Strength and cunning.
Heart of the Order.
I'm going to start running that in lists just to confuse people.
Yeah, they'll read it like I don't
They'll
get
be
it.
like, wait, you have a
That's
plan
that's
for
correct.
this? Be like, just wait and see. You never know.
Cool, baby.
Yeah, it could be amazing. All right, the next card has one of my favorite comic book callbacks, but goddamn, I don't know about this card. I hope it's not broken. The White Hot Room. Gah, I don't know, man. I hope it's not, but I don't know.
The
I think
problem
it
with all
takes
these
too long.
Phoenix
The game's
things,
too
there's
fast.
too much reading, and I can't be bothered to
Okay.
do all this.
Well, let's. It's
When
pretty.
she would be KO'd, you
Mhm.
play the card. It stays beside the game, which is just worthless text because no card is actually done anything with.
Yeah.
Put 2 power on this card. If this card has been played during the power phase, remove a card from it or power from it. When the last power card is removed, the chosen character places Phoenix within 2 of it. Phoenix is now part of your squad. Then discard this card.
Phoenix comes back to
Okay.
life at full health.
But it's after 2
It-
turns.
So
One turn. It's after one turn.
Yeah. Turn after next, she comes back.
Right.
Round after next, right? Yeah,
Round
round
after
after
next.
next.
Not-
she comes
yeah.
back.
No, it would take 2 rounds. She
No,
KOs.
But it's when the last power is
So you
removed,
remove
not
one
on the
after.
turn you
Oh,
can't remove.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought
So
the
Yeah,
same.
so
You have to wait a turn for her to come back.
So she's missing turn
Um,
4 when the game ends and gets to come back to turn 5.
I'm
No,
not super worried about this because I feel like, and by the time she's KO'd, the game's going to be on turn 3 or 4, and we're wrapping up anyway. And if
So you
we make
say
it to
that.
5 or 6, then I'm worried because I'm going to be running low and a full character is reborn. But I don't really view this any differently than like whatever Ghost Rider's card to come back is. Like you just have to fight her again. Maybe she even comes back if you don't wrap the game up.
okay, so here's a question for you, and I think I know the answer, and it makes me get frustrated. If I Dark Rain Phoenix and kill her, and on the following turn she becomes Phoenix Unleashed, is Dark Rain still on her?
Well, it's only for a round, anyways.
It's only for a round, right?
So, yeah, it's for the whole round.
Yeah, but then the
Luckily
round
for
would
me,
end.
she transforms on the
Oh,
very
shit.
next
I got you.
player
I got you. I
turn.
got you. You didn't daze her. Someone else
No,
is.
yeah, so
she
first
flips to
activation of the round.
Fuck. Yeah.
First activation of the round, Zemo plays Dark Rain and kills Phoenix. The first turn of my opponent, Phoenix Unleash appears.
But she's dazed.
No.
You just dazed her. She still would keep
Yeah.
the daze.
No. Why would she keep the days?
Because she
She only
would
keeps
be
activated.
activated.
She only keeps activated. No, she only keeps activated tokens.
She hasn't activated yet.
Dazed are not
Yeah,
activated.
she
tokens.
keeps all power activated and Phoenix tokens are moved to Phoenix Unleashed. So therefore, the Tactics card wouldn't move because it's a different character. It's not the same character
Too much thinking.
because it's not replaced with. It says place Phoenix Unleashed within range 2 of it. Then the Phoenix Unleashed is part of your squad. Move all power activated and Phoenix tokens to Phoenix Unleashed,
It does say or would
and then this character is removed.
it said would flip its stat card to the injured side. That
Yeah.
I don't think there's any literature about this, but they've never said that a character with the same
That
stat
happens
card
in the
is the
yeah,
same
that happens.
character.
But But this is a replace effect. It's instead of doing that, that's not even what we're triggering. We're triggering the 3 Phoenix tokens part. Because when she would be dazed, she gains 3 Phoenix tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Then my turn ends. It goes your turn. You started a turn with 3 Phoenix tokens. She immediately becomes Phoenix Unleashed.
I'm with you.
Okay. But it's not the same character. It's a new character.
Because it's a new name?
Because all the terminology on the card says it's a new character. It's the same thing with Hulkbuster. We just never come up before because he dazes in the cleanup phase. He doesn't daze in the middle of the round.
Right.
And so all that shit's already expired anyway. But for example, if you blind obsession Hulkbuster, you don't get the bonuses against the evac suit. And then when the original Hulkbuster comes back, I don't think you get it again either.
Okay, that's fine.
And so I'm just thinking like that's a very important distinction because there's going to be a lot of effects like that. Like, what if I Doppler bark? Okay, that doesn't work. It's a new character. None of that shit matters. She'll have to likely daze her before using all those abilities, and then use those abilities later in the round.
Okay, I'm totally fine with this train of thought now. But how did you get here from White Hot Room? Because we were talking about the White Hot Room.
Because originally I was thinking when she comes back, it's again a new model that isn't part of the squad.
Yeah, well, it's the whole
or wasn't originally
away.
Part of the squad.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand all of the important rule distinctions on that. And so that's what got me here is like, well, what happens if I had played Dossier on her or something weird like that? Like, okay, well, she's just gone. Like, fuck.
She left.
All I'm thinking about is how you can Ghost Rider, deal with the devil, kill Phoenix, play this card. Phoenix comes back. You lose nothing.
What?
So, deal with the devil.
You lose Phoenix for 2 rounds.
Yeah, 1 round, remember?
But she's off the table for an entire round, plus the duration of the turn she was gone. And so they'd have to kill Ghost Rider at some point during the turn. You would then kill Phoenix. It would have to be specifically Phoenix Unleashed as well. Oh, but Phoenix... Oh, hold on. Because Phoenix Unleashed is only KO'd in 2 situations, right? Either at the end of the round if she is dazed, or if she has too many tokens, right?
Yep.
Yep.
At the end of its activation, roll dice. Okay, so she still gets to activate if she gets to 5 tokens. Hold on, maybe not. This character is so weird.
Too many words.
It's just like a book. It's a book of things.
Well, it's not just that she has a lot of words on large abilities. It's that they violate every game mechanic that makes sense. And so if you go with what's intuitive, you'll be wrong because it doesn't work like other effects. But yeah, I don't see anything in her about if she would be dazed or KO'd. So she's just... I have to read the whole thing, or else I'll miss it. Yeah, so if she gets dazed, she's just dazed. And then in the cleanup phase, she's removed and KO'd. But she explodes first. Okay. So yeah, you could deal with the Devil Her, which just kills her, and she doesn't explode. And then you can play the other card, White Hot Room, to bring her back. So let's see, the only times it wouldn't matter, other than the fact that you're down a 6-pointer for the duration of time. I could see her getting flipped on round 2, but getting her KO'd on round 2 seems very difficult.
Right.
Well, let's say I'm playing Inhumans or Black Order or somebody, and so you move her up. I use Lockjaw or other abilities to get Black Bolt in range and just chunk her on the first round, maybe even get her dazed. Then you're gonna start round 2 in Unleashed form. Can I pile 10 damage into her? Let's say I get lucky, and yes, I do. So she's going to die on round 2. You're going to play this, be absent for round 3, and come back as regular Phoenix on turn 4.
Right.
That still seems very good.
So you seem to not have the same concern as Josh and I have. Well, if you have a 6th threat get KO'd on round 2, the speed of the game, how is it not still basically over by the time she comes
back?
But
my thought is that all you're doing is fighting me, and you haven't done anything else but pile people into my character. The thing I'm worried about is, does it allow me to play with complete reckless abandon and ignore all the other relevant points of the game? Why can't I just, use Lockjaw or Gamma Launch to just Gamma Launch Phoenix into the middle of the table on the first activation? Why wouldn't I? She's practically invulnerable. She just might miss a turn of fighting.
I get you.
And so, like, well, that's a different game than if you're playing her like she could die. And so I am also scared of this card. I expect it will probably be bad because,
can
like
heal
you guys,
herself,
I
right?
think missing round 3 or round 4 is auto loss situation, right? If she's off the table for one of those 2 rounds, you probably lose the game.
There's another thing going on here, which is temporal domination, which is what she does on her backside, where she gets to reroll up to 3 dice when she attacks for a Phoenix token, is one of those things you really had to wonder if you wanted to use, because you're gaining Phoenix tokens so often for her just regular attacks that you could very quickly stack up to 5 and then just die. You don't need to take a lot of damage to get her off the board if she's unleashed. You can just do 2 attacks and she's gone. So one of the reasons why she was very balanced before is that if that happened on turn 2, you lost your awesome character, your 6-point character, and all you did was hopefully some damage to your opponent. With White Hot Room, you will get her back, so you can use her more aggressively. But
I'm gonna
I
agree
don't
with
know
what-
I don't know if you can lose her for all of turn 3 and still like it. I don't know.
I'm gonna kind of agree with what Parker is saying, but we also said is I think the White Hot Room allows you to just dive her forward and go crazy, shooting off attacks, being like, I dare you to attack me. Like, it's the White Hot Room to me feels like a plan. You've got a plan to KO her or be like, cool, if my 6 threat dazes or KOs, she's coming right back. This is not a problem. But I don't know, like, I would vote no that you bring this tactic card, like you don't bring this tactic card because it's too many moving parts. But I do think that's an interesting point to just be like, cool, my 6 threat is just going to dive. Like, gonna dive, shooting guns in every direction, blaze of glory, because I've got a plan to bring her back, and you're either gonna deal with that plan or you're not. So,
yeah, like I could definitely see her being super aggressive on the first round with like Lockjaw placing her forward and just going ham on somebody, and then just firestorming on turn 2, then getting killed. And then turn 3, she turns into Phoenix Unleashed, and then just immediately tries to kill 2 people. And, you know, if you fail, you probably lose, but I don't know. It's something I need to see happen before I can really judge the relevance of it. I think it's probably bad, because losing her for a round probably means you lose the game. But it depends, right? Because if the rest of your list is doing nothing but trying to win on scenario or deny scenario, then maybe you can hold on long enough to get her back. Or maybe you've dealt enough damage with her, like, hey, if I killed 2 people, it doesn't matter that I died, because I'm coming back and you're not. And I'll win the late game. Because, you know, obviously having a fresh 6-pointer on the table is worth it. So what I'm looking at now is, can your opponent engineer killing her faster than normal? Because let's say I daze 2 other characters, right? 2 other non-grunts, so she has 2 tokens on her. Then I daze Phoenix. She gains 3 more tokens and immediately goes to 5 Phoenix tokens. So that way when she transforms into Phoenix Unleashed, she's already got 5 Phoenix tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, how does she get...
She can get rid of them if she
Right,
dazes
so
or
she's
KOs
gotta kill
someone,
people.
or her spender actually also. Her spender
Yeah.
either way makes her lose them.
Yeah, so she's going to remove 1, but then if she just makes a basic attack, she dies.
Yeah. Yeah,
So she'd have to daze 2 people or only spender for the rest of the game.
And to
And
spender
if
costs
she
6.
can only afford to spend her once. Yeah, exactly. She can only afford to spend her once. So yeah, that might be a way to play against her. It's just like, okay, I have to do this in this very specific order. Is kill 2 people, then kill Phoenix. And that way it puts her in a box where she basically only gets 1 big turn. But yeah, I think White Hot Room is interesting and cute, but it's probably not as good as Deal with the Devil. Like, far less good.
Oh, it's much worse than Deal with the Devil. Because Deal with the Devil,
how about this?
You don't lose any tempo, you just lose a character.
Correct. But you permanently lose a character in that situation. The whole concept of this card is you lose nothing in the long run. I think this is about like Dark Rejuvenation, where Dormammu resurrects a 3-pointer. I think that's about what this is.
Mm-hmm.
When it happens, it's going to be great, but how often is it going to happen in the timing you need it to happen in?
Right.
Especially when it's up to your opponent. It's like, well, she's basically dead on turn 2. I'll just let her live through turn 3
Yeah.
and kill her first thing on 3. That way she's gone for all of 3 and all of 4. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, you've lost.
That's actually
And so-
that's the biggest problem, is that if she has 3 health at the end of 2, then this card becomes so bad, and that's
Yeah.
such a possible thing. Yeah.
I agree, though. I'm still scared by it. It might be good.
The last card is a novel. We know that Josh loves novels, so if he's into reading, Flames of Life. It's really fun to read.
Oh my god.
Listener,
I fucking hate this card
take
so
roughly
much
the
already.
next 5 minutes to read and understand this card, and then pause this episode, and then come back.
I was gonna say,
joke's on
it's
you.
another- I
I
think
was
it's
reading this ahead because
It's another C+ card. Like, it's fine.
yeah, I don't actually. I think I like this one quite a bit, just because the ability to like heal and gain a power, like that's okay. It kind of turns some people on. I kind of really like the second part though. I think that's what I would play it for if I was going to play this, because you can cover quite a bit of territory with the Flame Pillars and Phoenix, who's on a big base, and just give her a turn of, cool, I played this, you're incinerated, now I'm juiced, goodbye.
The problem is, like, everything she does is also incinerate. I guess on her backside she doesn't incinerate, it was only her front side. But you're already incinerating things. I don't know how much you're...
Okay, I think this is a mandatory must-play card for the first effect.
To heal.
The first effect is
Because... No, just to remove a Phoenix token from her is so game impacting, I don't care what else it does. If this card said remove a Phoenix token, I'm in. You had me. Like, the fact that it does other things is irrelevant. But then it also heals and gains power. Like, you have to play this because of what I just said a minute ago of how you can play against her very, like, strategically. Is like, oh, I killed, as soon as they daze the second person, cool, I remove a token. You're like, and I might heal some people. You're like, okay, well now all of a sudden my whole strategy is different.
Yeah.
As where the Phoenix Unleashed part, gaining a Phoenix token, what are you going to do? Gain 3 Phoenix tokens this round and think that's going to work long term? Like, that seems terrible.
Well, you're playing White Hat Room at the same time. You're trying to kill yourself.
I guess. I mean, if you want to kill her on turn 2, this is the way to do it.
I just like that her
Yeah,
her Phoenix Blast and Phoenix Unleashed is just also Magnetic Crush, basically. That they could fit onto a character card, but not onto a different specific character that could appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't gain power
It's
from
okay
it, though,
that
either.
she's much more expensive than the other model you're talking about, right?
Way more threat.
Yeah.
She doesn't gain power from Phoenix Blast. I didn't notice that. So when she flips the only way... Okay, she gets power for each Phoenix token. But during her turn, she has no way to gain power.
Sure, but she's not going to need it because she's going to be gaining
she's gonna gain a shit ton.
so much power. Yeah, she's going to be at 10 power every round, basically. Because she's going to power up for at least 4 a turn when she's she's unleashed.
So probably taking
damage. Yeah, and she's going to be taking damage. And on the front side, she gets 2 a round, so she's not going to have 0 when she gets dazed, likely.
Yeah.
And then she's going to obviously take damage before being dazed. Yeah, I think she's going to have 10 power multiple turns.
Yeah, really, I don't know, short of like Judgment or something, really don't see her flipping to Phoenix Unleashed without being very close to 10 power.
Mm-hmm.
In any
Well,
way,
even
shape,
with
or
that,
form.
like she's got
Like,
a solid builder.
Yeah.
Never mind. I just realized she has the ability to incinerate people with her flame pillars automatically on her backside with all our beneath me.
Does
so, like,
she? God,
yeah.
so
The
much
second,
reading.
the second paragraph of that tactics card is probably just really bad, but the first paragraph is super good.
Yeah, you only do it if the only reason to play the second one is that you want a double spender, and I could see that being useful in some situations. Because if you're just like, oh, Flame Pillar, I get 2 power in the middle of my activation, I'll immediately double spender. And you're like, and then it's okay that I gained 3 tokens because I'm gonna like reroll dice and stuff because I'm removing 2, or because I'm dazing 2 people or something. Like there's some strategy in it that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
How are you
But
double spending?
Because the card says gain power.
So you could gain 4 more power.
You're using the tactics card to gain 2 power in the middle of her turn.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
You
And that's why I think it might be worth it. Because if you just said out loud, I'm going to gain a Phoenix token so that I can spend her twice, you're like, well, that's probably worth it. Because you might even remove more tokens than you spent.
Yep.
So she
This
seems very
is
strong, but it
Phoenix.
seems like she has some built-in kind of tech in play against her, and there's some hoops she has to jump through. So I don't feel like she's going to be as egregious, maybe, as some of the other things we've seen.
I'm gonna solve her problem the way I solve all my other problems.
Run
with
at
a
him with
hammer.
a space Viking.
Run at him with Space Vikings, and we're just gonna keep hitting her until
It's-
she stops moving.
Here's the reason why I still think she's balanced is the same reason I think Gladiator is balanced. You lose her extra fast for just playing the game, right? So like with Gladiator, by doing damage to Gladiator, you make him worse on top of doing damage to him. You already wanted to do damage to him, so now you just also get to make him worse. For Phoenix, you're actively rewarded for killing her allies. Like she is a pillar model, like where having allies around you, most of the time the thing is, okay, well, I'm going to not kill the grunts, not grunts, bad choice of words. I'm not going to kill the little guys around my 6-pointer because I need to kill the 6-pointer. It's got all this cool shit. Well, with her, you're actively, rewarded for killing her friends. So you don't even have to kill her if you don't want to. You can focus on her if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just kill her friends, and then she might just blow up. So that is the reason why I think she'll be fine. Is that you were rewarded?
So are you
for
saying
playing.
that you need to attack her, or you need to attack her friends?
I'm saying you're rewarded for attacking her friends. Does that make sense?
By you mean the attacker or her?
Her opponents are advantaged for attacking the rest of her list, right? So
Why do you say that?
because you get Phoenix tokens when you daze
But the Phoenix
friends.
tokens only matter if you... I think they're only a punishment if you do what I said earlier, which is give her a couple tokens and then daze her, so she starts with 5 on the backside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you just get... Okay, so we're in agreement. So, but it's not, and like Josh said, just punch her with Space Vikings. I think it's more subtle than that, which is like Loki 2. People are going to run face first into it without understanding the mechanic and then get frustrated. And I think you need to understand the mechanic to get around it.
Sure. But what I'm saying is that mechanic is something that... What's the best way to put it? Like, she's not a tar pit, right? She doesn't slow down the game by...
She speeds it up, yeah.
Yeah, she speeds it up. So by using her mechanic against her, not only are you killing her, but you are also killing the rest of her list. Unlike a Thanos, where you spend a lot of energy killing Thanos, but you still have the other, 8 points to 10 points of models that are still around him that you never touched because you had to send everything at Thanos.
Yeah. Or you tried to kill everyone else and they killed you even harder back.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Phoenix is the opposite. Like, yes, you'll do some damage to Phoenix, but by killing her friends, you are actively hurting her too. Unlike Thanos, where you do nothing to Thanos if you kill Thanos' friends, for example.
Yeah. I think because she is somewhat benefited for you killing other people, and she can heal others and mind shield them, I think a lot of people are going to try and dogpile Phoenix first, which I think is probably the least efficient way to kill her. I think you're fine if you just kill all of her friends, and I think you're fine if you kill some of her friends and then kill her in the right order. But if you just try and dogpile her, I think you're going to lose.
Makes sense.
You're just going to make her as strong as possible while her friends kill you. I'm part of me thinks that she might just be bad because you will just not fight them. Like, if you could just play a real board control team and just like bleed her out of power, because she only has range 3 attacks. She doesn't have proactive movement. So you just kind of like stay away from her and just like control the board and score as many points as you can. By the time she gets to Phoenix Unleashed, the game's over.
I would agree with that for the most part. Phoenix
she's
Unleashed,
a bad 6-pointer.
Phoenix Unleashed to me feels a little bit like Captain Marvel 2's binary form, where it's just a turn of bright and burning star, and then it's going to start fizzling out.
Oh, I don't think it's going to fizzle out. I think she's terrifying on the backside. But a lot of that is like being range 4 and, getting to just chunk people. But she is going to run out of gas eventually. But she's going to be able to balance it if you don't fuck with her. Because, she'll just get to the point where it's like, all right, I lower this person to like killable range. Then Phoenix activates, hits somebody, and then nukes 2 of them with the AoE. And all of a sudden, she's back to where she started and she killed 2 people.
She also gets access to Mental Dom, where she can then make another attack during her Phoenix Unleashed turn, and could drop another token that way.
But she only gets rid of the tokens when she kills people with her.
No, it's just I think any attack, right?
It's her spender specifically, isn't it?
No. Also,
No,
in
with their spenders when they're not dazed or KO'd.
Spender does it either way. Because if
Oh.
you daze or KO them, you lose it. If you don't, you also lose it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
But Mental Dom could give her another extra attack where you could dump one more token.
Does that actually work?
Can you do mental dom attacks from her pillars?
No, because you're doing it from the enemy character you choose. But it just says
Oh,
Jean
gotcha.
Grey, so she gets that. And Jean, the best card in the game. Jean stocks way up. Jean stocks way up.
You burn her. What? I can't even remember what Jean does. Hold on. I think CJ's played
Cyclops
it.
or Wolverine get a free attack.
I've played it
Yeah,
before.
Okay, so the big game plan. You're gonna kill Phoenix, your 6th threat, to get that sweet Wolverine free attack.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure she'll be just like Apocalypse. She'll be popular because she's a fan favorite.
She's
so.
she's super.
And that model is phenomenal. Like that's a great model.
The Unleashed is for sure. The regular Phoenix is fine, but going
I mean-
to the giant base and the whole the Phoenix on her base is sweet. Yeah.
Mhm. Alrighty. All right. Well, that's Phoenix's tactics cards.
Yeah.
God, that took forever.
She's such a pile of stuff.
I know. Yeah, part of it's me is like I haven't read any of this stuff, so I wanted to go through it so I could give honest opinions and hot takes.
Hot takes.
Hot.
All right, what's next?
That's the news. We did it.
We
Well-
didn't do. Oh, we're not doing the Brotherhoods.
You're gonna make me wait one more week.
Wait for what?
I feel.
The Brotherhood stuff.
Oh,
All
that's
the
right,
Brotherhood stuff came out.
Brotherhood.
Jeez,
Yeah.
sorry.
No. We're doing it. I totally forgot Brotherhood was on the
All right,
list.
good. I'm ready.
We're gonna.
So Exodus was also pre-spoiled. I stand by what I said, which he is bad Cable.
Exodus
I'm very
is super
I
bad.
disagree.
disappointed.
He's better Cable.
Oh
How
no!
is he
Oh,
better?
Oh, sorry.
Parker just
Everybody
threw
listen
up in
to
his
this.
mouth.
Just,
Everybody.
that's
I
just.
thought he
the
was
worst.
might
eating
have
to throw up.
No,
I can. jump
Okay,
on.
Josh, how is he better than
No,
Cable?
I'm with
Okay,
Josh here. I think he's
so
better.
we've got a medium move. We've got statistically more better stats. We are not locked into basically a singular range 5 dice attack because his spender is better than Cable's. His 2 attacks kind of work together, so you can push them towards push them towards US, size 4, and then hit them with your psionic vampirism if you want to. The teleport is slightly worse, but I realized it's because he has a range 2 6 dice attack, where Cable is a range 5 dice attack.
Well, the important part is that he cannot do his teleport on his own, and Cable can. That's a pretty big difference.
On
Yeah,
turn
you can't
one.
do it every turn,
That's
but-
massively different.
but I
It's like Zemo without charge. Like, he's a very different model.
yeah. But you can also do, I don't know, like you could do your range 4 to then have power to teleport yourself. Like that's not
But nothing's in
super-
range 4 of you if you don't teleport.
Nothing's in range 4 of you if you don't teleport.
on turn 1. He's
Yeah.
talking about turn 1.
On
Oh,
turn one.
on turn
So
1,
my
that's
problem is
different.
If
Yeah,
you're spending 5
but you're also
points on a model,
a
and your
medium,
plan on turn 1 is to double move, that is a bad 5
or
point
you
model.
could.
If there's a center line,
No.
you can wait, move, gainer, push.
I
them
have
off,
to
and
do
then
that
slide
all
to
the
point.
time with Asgard and move and double move and wait for the next round. So I would disagree with that heavily. Plus, you
With
can
your
meet.
5 pointers?
Yeah, because
Like,
do you know how
some of
many
them
people
can't do
don't
anything.
move to the middle in range of my attacks, and I have to wait.
Well, that's
another
exactly
round?
what we're talking about here, though.
Yeah, but this guy can
Okay.
do a medium move, range 4 attack that's a gainer, and then place himself. That pushes
But then
you
have no
towards
power
on
to
turn 1.
interact. That might push, sure.
My push, yeah.
Okay.
Like
I think that is an example of what a bad
we
5
were
point is.
originally like, oh man, is this any better than Cable? But when I look at his card, I think I would, depending on the affiliation, I would choose him over Cable. Honestly,
Okay.
I think he's doing more.
So
Cable
I like
does
him as
one
well.
thing, and that's place and shoot and shoot and shoot, and then nothing else.
So I think I like him more as well because I think he's going to stick around significantly longer than Cable. Cable just has a pile of health and a hope and a dream, and I feel like Exodus. Let's say you're playing intrusions. Like I know I'm handpicking a crisis here, but like let's say you're having a fight somewhere on the center line. If his turn is do 2 builders, heal himself automatically off of each of them, throw terrain at you, maybe move if he has to, and then healing factor, it's going to be so hard to grind him down compared to Cable that has no way to heal himself that, if you leave Cable at 2, your next model that goes gets to maybe kill Cable. If you leave Exodus at 2, he might heal back to 5 and kill you in the meantime also. So I feel like he's going to last a lot longer. And I think I'd rather have, like Josh said, I think he's got a spender you're going to actually use, and get an auto incinerate, not be relying on a wild. Like I think I'd rather have the Mystic Builder and the Energy Spender.
I mean, Cable's going to incinerate them with his gun, not with
Maybe.
Viscani Sun.
You hope so, but like you could not roll a wild.
Not
Or
on
reroll
every
a
attack,
wild.
but like we're
Yeah.
talking about like basically 7 dice worth of attack dice over the course of multiple attacks. He's going to get it way
Yeah.
sooner than this guy is. It's
Right,
like on his
but
builder.
he's going to do it to one person. Whereas Exodus
Sure.
could Spender 2, immediately do that, Builder 1.
I don't
throw
see
turn.
how you're getting all this power when your place costs 3 and your throw costs X and your shield.
I don't know
costs
that he's
2,
doing
like,
it on turn 1. I mean, if he's playing with Magneto, if he, doing a 6 dice Mystic Builder is going to generate some power on turn 2.
It's range 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he may be a little more crisis dependent than Cable. Cable may be a little bit universally better on every
Well, so
crisis.
The difference is Cable is put into lists because he, in certain situations like with Steve 1, can be a safe extractor because his kit works so well with that 1 point discount. With the 1 point discount, you get to stand next to it, extract, and not pick it up.
Yeah.
It's
Mystique,
a very
yeah,
big difference.
Mystique or
You're
Steve
giving
1,
up an
Exodus
entire
doesn't get to do that.
round of tempo in a game that we complain about is too short. Like,
Yeah.
that's a huge downgrade. Like, I agree. The healing is amazing. I would much rather Cable heal 3 around than not. Like, there's no question in my mind. The problem is what you're giving up for the healing. And so far, it's like all the things that make take Cable competitive are the things you're losing.
There's another problem with Exodus, which is, yes, he can heal 3 around, but he better fucking do that because he's got to be in the middle of fucking everything.
Yeah,
And
all this shit is short range.
Yeah, and all he has are dice to protect him. That's it. Whereas Cable can do everything from range 3 to 5 very safely. And if a model ever chooses to move to him, it doesn't say on his card, but Cable should say on his card, all models attacking Cable are staggered, because they almost always have to move once to get him. If they're not doing that, then you positioned Cable incorrectly, or you had to be aggressive with him, but he has some health. When you can attack, throw so consistently with Cable, because everything on his card is so cheap except for the throw, and then and everything's just given to him, his attack, throw from range 3 is so consistent that he can down the one model, and the other model has to move once and attack him. And he's not dying to that. Exodus has to walk, maybe, lose his action economy to do so, unless he already has some power, which he has to spend all of it to get there. Hope he rolls enough to then throw something, because the 2 models he's engaging are probably still alive to kill him.
I disagree heavily. I'm going to
So,
say
like,
something
on
spicy.
intru-
Zach,
okay,
hold
on
on.
intrusions-
Zach,
okay,
hold
okay,
on.
okay, go ahead.
I'm going to say something spicy because I am never worried when Cable is across the table for me. Ever.
Okay.
Like, Cable pops up, I'm like, cool, I'm probably going to kill that model eventually. He's throwing 5 dice at me. If he gets within range 3, that just means now I've solved that problem that Parker talked about where I have to move to attack him. Now, you can, like, shoot if I've got near you and then back up, that's fine. But, like, Cable to me is never a thing I consistently worry about. I'm okay if he just chucks dice at me all game.
I'm curious if you just haven't played against good cables or not, because that's
I've
definitely
played.
not my experience.
We have played. There's been a ton of cable played in our meta.
Okay.
And I played against him on TTS. I've played him when we've traveled for tournaments, and he's good. I just am not concerned about him.
I have definitely think that people overestimate Cable's damage output, but there's no question that he's a premium 5-pointer for damage output. That's what he does.
And here's the thing.
So,
go ahead.
It's just the whole concept of his model is he's meant to prey on people. You set him up in a spot where they have to enter your range 3 bubble. You immediately kill that person and place away, and there's nothing they can really do about you. And then the next turn you can place forward and kill that model that wakes up. His kit is very well designed to take advantage of that stuff. And Exodus's kit is not directly bad. It's not broken. It still functions, but it happens much slower. The fact that he needs to wait an extra turn to get placed, so he's losing up on his premium attack opportunities for the entire game. He's down attack opportunities because of the way his kit works. Then on top of that, I have to shoot you with a 5-die attack with no mods and hope I get a wild to push you into range of my actually decent attack, which is the attack of apparently now a 4-point model. That there are just 4-point models that exist with charge with that attack. It's just not worth 5 points to me in my mind.
So I think it's more about the crisis you're playing too, because Cable obviously is going to shoot from a range, but Parker, your exercise of they're going to have to move at him. Well, if we're playing Intrusions or Wedding Party, no, they don't. We're all standing there just having a giant fist fight, and I think Cable loses that fist fight much more quickly than Exodus does. If you're playing on Infinity, you're playing on Macron, you're playing on Guardian Safe, Shi'ar Empress, you're playing on something that's a little more spread out, I think I agree with you. But I think if we're going to have a fist fight in the middle, I think Exodus is the better model for that.
No,
sure.
see,
I mean, that's not what Cable's supposed to be doing.
No, when I play by Cable, he's always within range 3 or 4 of a secure. He's never mixing it up until everything is fucking dead. That's when he comes in, because he's just supporting your other 3-pointers by giving them extra defense dice and giving them long range support and throw damage. And the thing is, if Exodus had some other kit that didn't look so reminiscent of Cable, I wouldn't be directly appealing him.
Yeah.
Because Cable and Exodus are clearly different models. You're right. Exodus goes in and scraps. Cable is going to sit away. And if you put Cable in the scrap, he's going to do worse than Exodus. I would argue that Exodus goes down much faster to other 5-point models than Cable does, because he's got to be scrapping and he's got to lose tempo to do it. He's got to move in to do it. So I think that he is not a bad model. He just is so strangely Cable and yet harder to use. I think it's
I totally agree. If he had other utility parts that weren't just if you just look down the list, they gave him different passives, a different builder, and they added on an additional free attack, and then they changed 2 of his stat line. Other than he's the same fucking model. It's so similar that the only time you would ever play him is in the example of I want to scrap. But on the example of we're going to play Intrusions, I'll just put Cable range 3 off one of the points, and he'll just eat anybody who lands on that point by failing a roll. And if he has to, he'll just port forward and shoot somebody at longer range, or port to the interaction and move to another point to attack them if he needs to. He has a way to participate in that game. Obviously, Exodus is much better at dogfighting, but that's not what Cable's supposed to be doing. Red Skull and Ulik are both better at doing that, but that doesn't mean that they're like Cable, is my only point.
Right. No, it is definitely because their kits just have so much similarity. And it's inverting their attack types and making Exodus's slide a little bit more, and otherwise it's 90% the same.
I wanted this guy to be super interesting and fun, and I felt so betrayed when he's just different Cable.
I will admit I was very hopeful he would have a tactics card that would make it more interesting and make him more different than Cable, but I think I've thought of other places that he might have more success in, and I'm excited to try those out.
I do think that if you were excited to take a 5-point Cable, but you wanted something more scrappy, well, here Exodus does that. I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah,
but it's really
I'd
it's really sad that in the game right now, I think most of the time you're more excited to have Cable because Cable does something else for you that's really important. Brandon alluded to a bunch of times, which is high tempo. The game is so short right now. I feel like Exodus is going to feel less valuable.
How many premium attacks Cable makes in the game versus Exodus? Like, if it's one less, that's a problem. But I think it's like 3 less. That's unforgivably different. In the average game, Cable's making 7 premium attacks. Exodus is going to make 4. Like, it's just the game is over too fast. If we played a 6-turn game, the healing would be so much more important. But like, in my opinion, I don't even think the healing is going to matter because why would anybody attack him? He's not destroying their list. He's mildly annoying at best. The only way you can make them attack him is by picking him, extract, and standing on a point. And then you do die because he's not actually survivable. He just has good long-term progression with the healing. He still dies.
And 4 is across the board with adding 2 dice.
He's 1 defense die better than Cable, and Cable dies. Like, it doesn't keep him alive, it just makes him better at surviving hits. Once he's survived the hit, he's better. But, like, what happens when King T'Challa lands on his face and eats him alive? It's like, well, you're still dead. I was like, it doesn't matter.
You could say that about almost anybody. Yeah.
Sure. No, like, he'll survive against Web Warriors just fine. Like, they might get him on their all webbed up turn when, like, somebody important comes in. But, like, yeah, Gwen's not going to beat him to death. Like, that's fine. And he's going to heal back the damage he takes. But, like, that's just de-incentivizing attacking him. They'll just go kill somebody else. Like, why are they attacking Exodus and letting you heal all this damage? Same reason nobody attacks Venom. It's like, well, you just don't because there's better targets.
Yeah. I'm excited to try him. See if I can prove you wrong. But I appreciate your thoughts.
Go for it. I really hope it works, but I don't see it happening.
So let's talk about a character we know that's brand new. Lady Mastermind. We didn't know about her before. Now we know. I'm not going to read her whole card. It's kooky, which would you expect from a mistress of illusion. But I will say that one of my favorite things about this card, just from a design perspective, is they gave her the very generic use your Mystic defense, unless you pay 2, but they gave her 1 more Mystic defense. I think that's just adorable.
I love that. It just means she gets to roll 4 all the time.
Yeah, nobody.
Why would I dump power? You can have 1 more dice. I don't give a shit. Go for it.
She got the bad version though. She can't dodge with.
No, she can't dodge.
No.
Okay, she's got the Enchantress version. Yeah.
But she doesn't have 2 like Enchantress.
Yeah, it's just a strange kind of anachronistic kind of thing, which I think is fun. But
yeah. It'd be more relevant if they hadn't gotten rid of PSD, the Sonic shielding device that gave you an extra Mystic defense or whatever it was.
She does have the passive from Supergiant, which is low-key really good. She will have all the power always, which is super cool.
Point of order. The brain fog actually matters more than that, and it's not mental lock. There's a lot of effects that require type of damage, like Master Swordsman. They have to pay 2 to get Master Swordsman because it's a Mystic attack. I got that a lot when I played Convocation. That shit comes up a lot.
No, it doesn't change the attack type. It just she uses her Mystic defense.
It doesn't actually make it a Mystic attack? Never mind. I'm a liar.
Yeah.
Ignore me.
But anyway, she does have Supergiant's power generation thing, which is a really big deal. She will have all the power to do her thing, which is cool.
I think she looks interesting. I believe Zach looked it up, and she is a big part of Hellfire Club. So it's very possible that you play a Hellfire Club that can bring 3 characters that turn off all of your reactive and tactics cards during their turns.
It is cool.
Yep.
Because you run her, you run Emma, you run Mystique, and you could just go, no. Put those tactics cards to the side.
Yeah. Go ahead and
don't worry about
those
them.
Away. I think the superpower she has is really fun and dynamic. I know we talked about this briefly on the store, but on the cast, people have already figured out what's the table look like that you can get the most efficient attacks from her. You can beam, you can area attack with it. People like Red Skull 2, where he can, if he has the token or he has the right armor, he raises it, but that doesn't matter for her. So there's some very high ceiling attacks she can make for very cheap. or some very long range attacks like Shuri's Panther Gauntlets, that she drops the limitation of needing or of only being able to do 1 damage. So I think there's some things like that where she'll be able to really reach out somewhere that you're not expecting. I think that'll be very fun to see on the table. I think she's going to have a lot of weird rules, interactions, and shit though because of that superpower that'll make things. I don't know. Maybe
who has an
annoying,
area 0 cost attack?
Crystal does
Crystal, yeah.
weirdly.
Crystal.
It's like an
That's
area
right.
1.
It's area 1. Adorable. That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I mean, like she could steal Dynamo's beam 4, her Vision's beam 4.
Oh yeah. There's lots of beams.
Does it keep the type, or is it just automatically Mystic?
Keeps the type, range, strength, and type.
I don't see type. Oh yeah, there is, and type. There's just no symbol
there's just
for
no
it.
symbol
Adorable.
for type.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious how this interacts with the attacks that can change attack type, because I think they all show one as a default, like Psylocke. I believe hers shows Mystic on her katana, but then the rule says you get to pick. So I'm assuming that means
You wouldn't get that
for
rule,
this
yeah.
reference, it would just be
No.
Mystic. Yeah, it's just already
Yeah,
showing
correct.
that type.
That makes sense. I think she's really cool. She's a cool controller type character. Bunch of hodgepodge of stuff. She'll always get to do her thing. I think with Try a Little Harder. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to skip over to her tactics card or come back to that?
Yeah.
after
No, we're
Avalanche?
gonna go right now. We're gonna go to Mirage, her tactics card. It's one of our favorites. She spends 2 power to interrupt an attack on a character within 3. But she doesn't become a bodyguard. She just fucks with dice, which is cool.
The timing on it also, I would want to add, is specifically during modified dice, so it's not like a Heroes for Hire thing you get to pay in advance.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
get to see the full attack roll and then decide, is this actually going to be useful or not? So it's not like you're going to burn it and get spiked or something like that. You actually
Right.
get to see what it looks like, and I feel like I feel like it could be very punishing if they have a couple
This-
skulls.
This is great.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
cool.
I think it's a really good card. It may
Not
not
only
come
are you
up
gonna-
every time you want it to, but like I think
Yeah,
it has a
that-
very, very good effect.
I like it because it makes a skull roll super bad, but it doesn't. It's not like as a player myself. I don't look at when I look at Heroes for Hire. I go fuck. I have to find a way to make him use Heroes for Hire. I'm just going to send attacks until he feels like it's time to use Heroes for Hire. I'm going to get Heroes for Hire. This one I go. I'm just going to play my game. Eventually, I could fuck up a roll and really fuck up a roll, but I got to play the game. So I like that this one is less about I know that you know that I know that you know, and more about just let's play until something gets riggedy wrecked by Mirage.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the it loses power and you can get to advance as well.
Mhm.
That's really, really good. Cool.
Yeah,
What's
like
next?
Parker said, I think that'll be. Do you guys? I feel like this is almost stapled to her because it's so cheap for her to play as well, and has such a high upside.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you
I
think
doubt
this is
she'll
an
get a
every game
lot of
with
play,
her?
but yeah, if she's in your list, it's probably in your 10. I don't know how often it makes your 5. I would imagine reasonably often.
I think if you're excited to play her, you're excited to play this too because it's all just cool control stuff.
Yep.
I love the next one is a throwback to X-Men. Is this the first one or the second one? I want to say it's the second one. The pawns go first.
Mm-hmm.
Brotherhood card, pretty cool.
I think it's interesting. I think it's harder because you're looking at like, okay, I'm playing maybe Magneto, Juggernaut or something. So I'm at 11 threat, and then it's like, well, how many 3s am I going to have in there after that? But I like
usually
everything
2
it does.
or 3.
Yeah.
You could also just like play Magneto and like 5 other models, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
I think the thing I like the most about it is the timing of it. That it's during the end phase, which doesn't
Mhm.
exist, but will exist. But it's like it maybe gives you a nice potential bubble. That maybe you've had 2 people displaced off a point, but they're within 3 of Magneto, Juggernaut, whoever, and it gives them an opportunity to maybe move back onto a point to influence the scoring at the end of the round. So I like the timing of that.
When does the end phase supposedly happen?
Basically, after the brief moment after the final activation, before the beginning of cleanup, is what is presumed.
Okay. Because they say it'd have to basically be before cleanup to affect victory points, but that is interesting.
There's a specific sentence in the rulebook that says at the end of the activation phase, and it's implied. I think people are assuming that's what that step is.
You will have to get away with your characters being dazed though, because you won't have an opportunity to be undazed. And so if you've got two people dazed that round, they can't play the card, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Brotherhood already have so many good cards, I doubt it'll ever see the table, but it's cute. I like it.
Well, I'm dreaming of playing lots of Exodus, so I like the idea of having Exodus and Juggernaut and then a bunch of little fellows around. And so having two different pillars instead of relying on one, instead of relying on just what's my range to Juggernaut or to Magneto, having multiple options, I think could help it be a little bit more reliable to play. But
yeah, I'm just thinking the average game in that example is you're probably running 4, maybe 5 wide, and if 2 of your guys got dazed, you're like, this guy is a pawn, and one guy gets to play a card.
Toad moves short.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd be worried about, but it's cute. I like it.
It does. There are a couple characters in Brotherhood that just sit on power, Mystique is one, Toad is another, actually. He can just kind of sit on power sometimes. So being able to do something important with that power will be useful. I think it'll be useful.
Yeah.
Next card is Genetic Superiority. For all those times that you want to play Magneto and Exodus simultaneously, oh boy. Finally.
If you play 11 threat, you get to generate an extra roughly 8 power throughout the game. Playing probably a leadership that generates way more than that.
You did it.
Yeah, I don't get this card. I don't know what they were thinking.
I thought it said
really
or first, and I thought it was maybe better. And when when I saw it was and, no, I'm good.
It's just so many conditions. I get this the whole game, so that's cute. And Brotherhood seemed to have this thing of our cards last the whole game, which is nice, but
they have to be good.
Yeah. It's so you're playing 11 threat with the models, so at most you probably have 3 other guys, unless you're just running a bunch of 2s. And then they have
to be Brotherhood. Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, it's just the big guys have to be Brotherhood.
Okay. But then that's the thing too is, okay, well, what if you just kill the big guys and then they don't get to generate that extra power? It's only if a 4 threat or lower is damaged. So they have to be attacking the other smaller things, not attacking Exodus or Magneto.
Oh yeah, because the power specifically goes to one of the big guys of your choice within range 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card is bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will say though, this might make Exodus more playable if you were already planning on playing Magneto. Well, I mean, this fixes his tempo problem.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to suicide your guys.
Someone has to. Yeah. Hey, Toad, just run twice to the dead ass center.
Yeah, and so the Toad gets shot and then gives Exodus power. He then immediately gets to place. That actually is not irrelevant. Stupidity play. That's actually not terrible. It just requires you to play Exodus and Magneto.
I'll let you try that out first. You tell me.
And Exodus under reverse polarity is actually pretty good. I don't think it's terrible. The problem is the mission format right now just doesn't support that kind of play, which has been Brotherhood's problem the whole time, is that the missions that are getting played are just bad for them.
All right, the very last card, super important, Fault Line. For all those
we
times...
haven't talked about Avalanche yet.
No, I know. I was laughing because he's so forgettable. The Parker, it just never. We never even went to Avalanche. Parker's no. We'll just go to the tactics.
I thought we talked about Avalanche a long time ago on the cast. Am I crazy?
Nope.
This is it.
Maybe okay. This is just maybe a conversation I had. I think I was in a room with all 4 of you talking about how forgettable he was, and that's why. And I just assumed we podcast that. But yeah,
they took all the words off of his card and put them onto Phoenix's card. and he just got the leftover 8 words that were available.
I thought it
Yeah.
was just Shocker again. Just like, yeah, half his card is blank.
Landslide is awesome. Landslide is a great superpower.
Landslide
Everything else,
is a
it kinda
range
sucks.
3 web line. Or sorry, range 3 impact webbing. That's just a superpower. But it's up to size 4. That's actually
And it's
pretty
away.
solid.
Yeah.
And it's away.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, Hulk,
It's-
please go somewhere else.
Yeah, Landslide's actually pretty solid.
It's
Yeah.
good. Everything else, fine, I guess.
He's reasonably buff for a 3-pointer.
He has a beam 3 gainer. Hey. So he's going to get to landslide.
He's got a terrible spender.
Yeah, AoE 2 though. That's not terrible
If-
for 3 dice or 3 power.
If it was 3 dice, I'd feel pretty similar.
I mean, if you just think about it this way, it's like, all right, so I'm going to move forward and shoot somebody on first turn, go to 2, power up to 3. Then I'm going to
Yeah,
walk
it's nice
forward
to
and AoE
auto
2
stun,
to auto
yeah.
stun 3 people. Like, that's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
He's a fine, forgettable 3. He's certainly not impressive.
Falling
like
debris
he's-
will probably make him have a nice spot under Magneto, except for it's specifically in advance, so it's not like Mags can push them into range and then he blows up that. It has to be the advance like that.
But you can use fake deception now.
Yeah, you can use fake deception. You can use Lady Mastermind. Use Emma.
Yeah.
I feel like he will go the way of the Vulture, which is a totally
Yeah.
fine character that will never be remembered.
I don't remember Vulture being good. I remember him being not good was the problem.
This
I
guy
think he
actually
was
has
actually bad.
This guy actually has a good toolkit, I think. Now, Vulture's Spender, I think, is actually pretty premium, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
but-
he was like fast with a decent spender,
Yeah.
but he's like literally made of glass.
Well, this guy
He's
is
like
not.
the
Well,
worst
this guy's
stat line
also
ever.
glass, right? He's just.
I mean,
He's
he's,
got
at
6
least got
health, I guess.
11 health
He's got
with
6
a 4
and-
physical.
4 physical.
Yeah, he's okay.
Oh yeah,
He's average for a 3.
Vulture's
I don't know.
Vulture's Spender
I
is a
think-
goddamn monster. Yeah, damn. I just looked at that.
Yeah, he's only here for Landslide. You could build
Yeah.
an interesting Control Brotherhood list now if you take like Pyro and Avalanche and Mysterio and a couple other like maybe even Shuri, and just like I'm just gonna have a bunch of 3-pointers that just shove people around, and we're just gonna
Yep.
hold ground. You put Blob out there to be your point holder. It's like
Yep.
he's like just gonna anchor down. Is like just sit there, just see how long you can last.
He's not wrong.
All right, so now that we know how great Avalanche is.
Yeah, speaking
Quite
of
Hit us with
that,
Fault Line.
speaking of a cool idea, Fault Line. During Power Phase card, I like that. And yeah, just make Beam 5s. That seems like a terrible use of a tactics card, but it's not a terrible tactics card. It just seems
So
super bad as a tactics.
They
card.
don't have to be near
It's
each other. No
not-
range
No?
restriction.
Yeah,
it's not great, but I don't hate it only because if you can line up the Beam 5, it's a tactics card that gains you more power than you had gotten. Because it's like, cool, I was only hitting
they both
one
have gainers,
person.
yeah.
Now I'm hitting 3 people. Well, that means I played a power to gain 2 more power than I would have got. So now I can do my thing. My push the person away, or I don't even remember what Pyro does.
So
Pyro would spread
like-
incinerate to your whole
So
team.
I don't
Yeah.
think it makes it, but I actually think this is a very well written tactics card for what it does with who it does. I think this is like
if you
it's considerable, right?
Yeah. If you have both Pyro and Avalanche in your roster, this card is in your roster. Because if they ever made your squad together, I think it's a good card. I just
Right.
think the cost of doing business is having Avalanche in your squad. And if you were already going to do that, then you're playing this card. So if you can get over the dead weight of, I think, Avalanche with his one good saving grace of a character, making Flame Jet on Pyro Beam 5 is not at all irrelevant because he has Flame Jet. Or sorry, Stoke the Flames. So now you're rolling. He has a Beam 5 6 dice with Incinerate gainer. So you're going to pay for the second Stoke Flames. You only need 4 power to make this happen. And then you start Wall of Flaming as well. Like there's a lot of value there.
And it's not nothing, but don't forget you can also basically reach out range 7 to incinerate someone if you want.
That's true. Like, yeah, their whole list is good.
Everybody's
Yeah.
on fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Within 2 of somebody I've attacked, and you're like, yeah, Beam 5, okay.
Yeah, that will be whoever I want.
Just grab them all.
Yeah, if I just told you, it's like, yeah, my 3-pointer for 4 power is going to do a beam 5, 6 dice against your automatically incinerated defense. You're like, that seems good. I'm just going to do that twice.
I think you're right, Brandon. I think if they are both in your roster, it is in your 10, because tactics cards are not phenomenal, and this has a good effect. And if they happen to make the table at the same time, then you probably should play this card.
Yeah. The only question is, does it justify taking, like, Avalanche over Human Torch or somebody instead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Parker,
Cool.
you're more of the comics guy. Do you see any of these 3 models being Horsemen? I don't know about their affiliation with Apocalypse or not.
Oh,
Other
as
than that
Horseman?
Exodus gets his powers like directly from Apocalypse or some weird shit.
Oh, man. Anybody's fucking guess with Horseman at this point. Like,
Yeah,
in
they've
terms of
gone so far askew from
in
comic
terms of
origins.
canon, like, it blows my mind some of the characters that aren't Horsemen that are absolutely Horsemen in the comics, like famously Horsemen. So no, I wouldn't hold my breath about who is and who's not a Horseman. I could not even begin to guess. I think there is a chance for any of them. I think, you don't know, my wild guess is whatever Cable has for Horseman cards, Exodus will also have, because that
Or he'll have the other 2.
Nope.
Exact same ones.
That would be exact same
Cable
ones.
is War and Pestilence, I think.
Yeah.
That
It'll
would
be whatever Cable has, Exodus will also have. So you finally have
Exodus
another
is the only one
option.
of me that's close. Of like, I read about him and he's a regular-ish mutant, and then Apocalypse just juices him up to 10, and then he's kind of like, "Fuck you, Apocalypse," and he leaves. Like, he doesn't. I don't think he becomes a Horseman. He just gets juiced up from Apocalypse, and then has nothing to do with him ever again.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, Sugar Daddy. I'll be leaving now.
Yeah, they clearly aren't going to add any more Horsemen in my mind, because it's already a balanced matrix. If they were going to do anything, they might change it up on a seasonal basis, where they said, okay, here's the 2026 to 2027, Apocalypse list, and you're like, oh, okay. But they're not gonna add anybody without completely overhauling the list, because they intentionally chose 16 characters. That way, there's 8 of each, and everybody get to, like,
they'd have to add multiple, right? Like, it'd be like, we're gonna add 2 characters to it. They cover all 4 of them, so you get 1 more of each, sort of thing.
Yeah, I was right. Cable is Pestilence and War.
All right, Exodus, Pestilence, and War. Here we go.
Yeah, Exodus was a Horseman in the comics. At one point,
everybody was. Name a mutant, they were a Horseman.
Exactly. That's the problem. Is they all were.
Parker was a Horseman.
Famously, Cyclops was a Horseman, and he's not in this game. So
the only unexcusable one would have been Angel. If Angel or Archangel weren't a Horseman, it would have been unforgivable.
Yeah,
that's the only one. Because if 99.999% of people know that he was Death, and anything else would have been unacceptable.
Yeah, his story is really cool. He was a Knight Templar in the 12th century. I think he was originally like a medieval Francian knight, and he during the Crusades ended up meeting Apocalypse when he got resurrected for a time, and that's how he got juiced up, and why he is also immortal. Yeah, he is a super cool character. I wish he was super cool in this game, but instead he's just slow Cable, which is fucking weird.
Hey,
better Cable. Oh God, sorry,
I'm excited.
I had a cough.
I'm excited for the reign of Exodus, and I have to prove it.
Yeah,
I can't
wait.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he's bad. I'm just think he's slow, and I think that's weird.
When I think of all the terrifying lists I could be asked to play against, I'm like, just imagine your opponent added Exodus to their roster. I'm like, oh, thank fucking God. I was worried. Like, finally got some slow pitch softball coming in here. Like,
slow.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad, but he will never make anything close to like the meta list that we did recently. It's like, that's never going to happen. He's not that model. He doesn't have like the edge, right? He has is like B- stuff across his whole card, which is fine. I'm not saying you can't play Exodus and have a really good time or even compete. I'm just saying like he's never going to be the optimal choice in a list, in my opinion. I just don't see it.
I feel like Lady Mastermind actually has a much stronger case for that kind of, because
I'm very excited for triple no reactions. If that's good or bad yet, I don't know. But
she just has a bundle of premium effects, right? Like there's nothing on her card that's not premium, except kind of her builder only does 1 damage, kind of, but that's not that bad.
It's so weird. Yeah, it's like it does 1, but sometimes 3, but only if they have at least 2 conditions that you want to remove from them.
Yeah,
so that you can damage them.
But it's still like, so how many times have I rolled Shuri and been so excited because she has a range 5 like overstated attack,
still do
and
0.
I rolled 3 and he blocked 2 and I did 1 anyway. Like fuck you. Like it's so common. So the fact that I'll get to roll 5 dice at range 5 and yes, do 1 damage on average usually anyway, but then also have premium wild effects that you can do more than 1. You can do bleed, poison, shock, or incinerate. Like it's fucking awesome. She's got Hawkeye's ability, only can't do quite as much damage, but automatically gains the power. Ugh, I think I take it. Like it's like she has premium lots of stuff. So I
think her try a little hard next time. The gain power for enemy skulls is going to mostly be effectively nothing because she's going to be so far out of range 3 of enemies, which is partially a good thing because she's going to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah.
But in the times where she is a little bit closer, like it will be nice that she can. She does have a spender that's not bad. Like it's not a waste of power. It's not bad. So if she does they run at her, then the opportunity to do that still could be pretty useful.
Yeah, she's okay. I think she'll be solid as. Oh, she's 4 points? I thought she was a 3-pointer.
Oh, no, that's not a 3-pointer.
Now Brandon's like, oh, shit, I'm out.
I was like, yeah. I was like, you're selling me on this. Like, this seems really strong. As a 4-pointer? Oh, I don't know. I'm not actually afraid of her as a 4-pointer.
She could not be a 3-pointer. She'd be pushed as shit as a 3-pointer.
Yeah, I don't disagree necessarily, but we've seen a lot of push models lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The fact that I was okay with it to this moment, like, because she doesn't really deal damage.
No, she's an
she
interesting
doesn't-
tech beast, right? She doesn't deal damage with her own attacks. If she steals your attack that's the right strength and range, then it's good. But yeah, with her attacks, it's 1 or 3.
Yeah, but like, how many of those models are going to be like lower? Like, you guys have looked at the list that people have compiled. Like, it's like Shuri and Scourge and Red Skull, and a couple other people.
It's manipulating either the 2 or the people like Shuri, where it's like, well, you only have to pay 3, which she can do because she can just do a gainer twice, and then she can, grab an attack from 3 or do a beam 3 or something like that. Like, it's not going to be a super premium attack all the time.
I don't know. She doesn't scream 4-pointer to me, but she's definitely would be an amazing 3. I don't know. It's a pretty competitive pool of 4-pointers right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, I didn't say she makes the list of All-Stars. I said she has a better chance than Exodus.
I would probably accept that, assuming that there's like some really good synergy line that people found with her.
Also, her Tactics card is badass, I think.
It's good. The model that surprised me that nobody even seemed to try was Silver Sable.
Nope.
I have heard of a new resurgence of her with Doctor Strange. I've heard of people actually really enjoying her as another way to like add dice to an ally. So I think she's got a little bit of brand new life, but I'm with you. I didn't think her kit was really that bad, and just no one seemed interested.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's squishy for sure, but like with the positioning she's supposed to have, I think it's justifiable that like you can't have a tough model that's also out of threat range.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the part of it is like people don't want to sacrifice a 4-pointer standing on the back line. But if you look at her headshot attack, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like 3 cost, range 5, 6 dice. It sounds just whatever. But then it's like if it deals damage, you do an additional 2 damage. It's like, okay, hold on. Like, that's so relevant. That's like making it a 10 dice attack if you just do the basic math on it. Like, that's the equivalent. Range 5, 10 dice costs 3. That's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so I really think that she just starts headshotting 3-pointers, and it's like, oh yeah, 6 dice, take 3, you're dead. And she's like, shoot the next person. Like, I don't know. It seemed very good, and I've never seen her on the table, I don't think.
Maybe I'll throw her in with Magneto also. See if she can't help him out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have cover if Magneto removes that building.
Yeah, I'll just eat. You just
I
eat
have
all the
cover. You don't anymore. There is no cover.
Well, yeah.
That is
But
funny.
even on top of that, it's just like, oh, you could also play her with Winter Guard and just Sovereign Strike the building they're standing on. And then it's like, oh, you've already taken 2 damage, so let's just headshot all these people. That would be hilarious. Yeah, and with range 5, it's like, how do you not have a target that's out of cover? Like, it seems so easy.
When you can push on her gainer as well. It's a tough trigger to get, but it is.
Yeah. Just range 5 tranquilize people. Just like, oh, you're rooted. That guy's rooted too. That guy's rooted too. Fuck off. Stop rooting my whole fucking team.
The problem
Anyway,
is,
yeah, I was just...
Good.
I saw her card. I was like, this model looks amazing and fun to play, and then nobody tried her at all. But Shang-Chi's in the same box,
yeah,
right?
she comes
So,
to
like,
Shang-Chi.
A lot of people own her. Tell you that. A lot of people.
Exactly.
Own her.
That's kind of my point. Is like nobody tried her.
she doesn't have a strong tactics card, and Protect the Asset is amazing, but she has to be dazed to use it. So if your opponent just doesn't oblige you, there's a chance that she never contributes to the game for 4 points, which is not good enough.
You mean for scenario play?
Oh, I forgot
So
she flips or changes.
Yeah, she changes and she flips. What I mean is, if she doesn't go off with her builders, and she just sits on a blue, which is probably what she's going to do, right? Or else you're going to have to hide her somewhere when then she's not contributing enough for a 4-pointer. I feel like she could feel real bad. She's not bad, but she could feel real bad if all she does is 1 or 2 attacks every turn, and that's all she gets to do. That'd feel sad. But if she picks up an extract and sits on the back blue, and people feel like they have to flip her over, and then she protects the asset and starts really fucking with shit, like I think.
Ooh, she could be fun in Inhumans. Because you could siphon power to her so she can shot collar somebody else, which then hands them additional power back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then you pay up for basically effectively.
Yeah, and then every time you pay up, when she starts gaining enough power to where she can do her headshots every round, then you just start funneling the power back to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, pay up is basically pay 1 for 1 die. Everybody would do that.
Anyway. All right, we got to get out of here. We're super long on time already.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we haven't covered?
We did it all, even Avalanche.
Even Avalanche. Everyone remembers Avalanche.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you had a good time. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Zach.
And Josh.
And you've just listened to Avalanche. Because he's good.
Because we remembered.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down Infamous.